NYNB's story starts all the way back in Season 1, when Blake was the only member in the server. He had made a name for himself on Gangplank and Kassadin when the server was just sign-up games, but he really made his team format debut on Bitly.
Top, back off once the gank fails, and then go mid. But he's still engaging on Blake. Blake just that's what's gonna happen.
All of his HP.
Yeah.
That was such an int engage. Good engage by the Leona, by the way. Still
Very well done. Silco might be able to pick up Joey if Joey plays this incorrectly, but Joey isn't going to play this incorrectly. Yep. There it is.
He was undefeated on Gangplank that season, including a game played for Airway.
At the end of the game. But he has Prowlers and...
Oh my! That was definitely a crit! Oh, nice. You film here? Yeah,
What?
see ya.
Was that 2,000 damage?
Yeah, that was 2038 crit right there.
Holy shit!
No.
I'm gonna see you guys. My fucking stomach hurts.
What is that?
The team that eventually did bring on his downfall in Season 1 finals. Blake and Stanley stuck together, moving on to join No Idea in Season 2. There, Blake introduced some of his more infamous picks, including the notorious Singed Yorick combo with Stanley.
Blake is just running down this Malzahar, gets the flip, and Stanley is just too strong. He bought the Silver Mirror Dawn second item! Okay, Stanley!
And the Malphite jungle.
After the Vega defense skill. Yeah. Alright. I cannot see any other way this game could have possibly ended.
Oh,
Alright.
Despite an incredible Game 2 performance from Blake himself in Season 2 finals,
It doesn't matter.
By the way.
Oh, you missed the
these?
flash earlier.
We don't steal these?
Okay, Blake gets the Cho'Gath ultimate. Stanley is 0 ult missing for the second time in a row. Suki might die here. Oh, that is unfortunate.
Okay.
Silas, so he can steal Zillion ult and destroy Zillion, and he hasn't done that a single time this game.
Well, he hasn't really needed to, has he?
You...
Oh wait, he just did it!
Oh, he has it.
Oh.
Okay.
That was kind of a nifty
He's
play.
out though.
No, he's gonna have to pop the Zillion ult here.
Oh my god.
Oh
Dude,
my god.
Joel is
Wait,
clean with it.
Yeah.
Now Joel's not clean.
they were ultimately taken down by the Mason-coached Jiffy Diffy. In Season 3, Blake broke the meta in a way that has never been followed in Scrim Zone, including by the metabusters themselves, playing picks such as Kayn mid, Pyke ADC,
And it is still in time to get plate gold from it. It's not able to find the stun on the Yavi, but hits the hook. So. And his victims have now arrived. We'll see how this goes. The flash comes down. Stanley almost instantly done. Oh my god, the shockwave comes in clutch. The double kill by Pyke. Okay, hook comes down. Ooh, shockwave is dodged. The binding barely misses Pyke. They're not able to punish that. Ducky and Eric are both potentially being able to be caught out here. That's a very good Prowler's Claw by Blake. Blake might just end up getting 3 here. Flash hook is huge. Triple kill. That's
Ivern mid, Ezreal mid, and finally getting his trophy with Stanley after 2 consecutive finals losses, picking Malphite.
Waiting for the right moment to pop this world ender and end their whole career. The Malphite ult! Oh my gosh, Hog just got erased from the video game. Okay, flash Q. Dan's probably dead here. They just end the game. Grab the wave, end the game. Nice.
And Graves mid.
Oh, ulti? Okay. Oh, but the flash and like this champion is just
2 wins. Not only was this win against his previous captain in Dean, but it was against the Hongbaba and Sam S bot lane, which was thought to be unbeatable. Season 4 was a more quiet season for Blake, where he captained a group of new players to the server on Closeted Furries, ultimately sputtering out and finishing in 5th due to some internal issues. Blake's bid at captainship did not end there, as moving into franchising, he debuted the New York Nutbusters, bringing in 4 new players to the server in Mike, Taxi, Alex, and PB. PB's super low, and Alex isn't able to pick it up. Stun comes out, but the Diego is not 6, doesn't have much kill threat, takes a tower shot, and he's just going to die probably. PB's actually able to pick up a stun. Ash flashes, gets vision, but the W is able to save him. But now PB's getting run down low, and Graves and Zoe are fighting in the jungle there. Kathy falls down quite low. Dino's able to pick it up, transforms, Hog dies, and that is 2 kills for Alex, and this lane has been turned around. They dominated the regular season, starting off undefeated, going 9-0. Unfortunately, this team had some volatility, which resulted in PB getting benched for their 10th and final regular season series, where they were defeated by MVP. Returning to their main roster in playoffs, they defeated Rift in the first round, where Aphelios Thresh defined the series meta.
Your Kaisa, as we saw in that last fight.
Okay, actually,
TP comes down for the Gragas, so we will be getting. Oh my god, that Aphelios damage. And the steal! Rift Sharks, you have done it! I mean, they can win from here, I think. But Vi isn't here, so they might be able to pick it up. Callista is super low. Jonah is doing a ton of damage. But the Aphelios ult comes down and will just be able to pick up the kill. 7-0-7 on the Aphelios here is absolutely going crazy. Forces the flash out of Jonah. Jonah will hop onto him and will just die.
Oh my god!
Oh my goodness. Alex going insane this game. Ordeal Dawn.
That's so cool.
Ornn has to flash away. Will get taken down by the Echo. Echo is a Chad and a half.
No, what is the Marvel Shield bullet called? Goes
that
in.
one I
Does
actually
not.
I'm somewhat familiar with. Oh my god, Taxi, you are insane. Triple kill for Alex.
And advanced to play the only team that had beaten them in finals. Tragically, despite an insanely dominant Game 2,
I think picking the Swain again, they definitely thought that was like a smarter move, but it did not.
I was sitting
end
on
up.
3k gold here in the base.
Oh.
Turret goes down. Alawi ults.
Oh.
Kaisa picks up another
they
kill.
will get another.
Okay, wait, Swain, hello?
Oh.
Okay, no.
No.
Yeah, I think we are gonna end this game with Will having 5 kills, the rest of his team having 0.
NYNB fell, unable to defeat MVP in the back half of the season. NYNB was not the same after this, with internal disputes driving the team apart. Blake and Mike stuck around, but were only able to win a single series.
Looks like he's going straight for the for the Xayah, and the Xayah just gets popped. Valor is trying to one-shot the Ashe, does manage to get the one-shot, and it looks like Blake is just here to fucking game though. They burned the ult, they burned everything onto the Ashe, and it's not going to pay dividends. Heroic is managed to clean up some of this fight though, but it looks like the rest
getting their revenge against MVP from last season. Alex and PB went to Andromeda, joining up with Alana for the first time, but they ended up being the other team that did not qualify for playoffs that season. Taxi was the most successful member, going to the finalists in Rift Sharks, but he did not see the Rift in playoffs. After Season 6 was Blake and Alana's first time on the same team, reuniting Bitly's Season 1 roster with Stanley, Dean, and Eric to form Milky Way.
Play slow, super duper slow.
Wait.
Oh. Okay, never mind.
We play fast.
Alright.
Did you have donuts?
We're coming in from behind.
I fucking eat pippers.
I got hung.
Luna's dead, or yeah, Needle's dead.
Okay.
Okay.
Just keep going.
Yeah, go for Andy. It's better. Turn.
Yep.
Yes!
Turn, and then you get out there.
Yippee!
Oh, if we can kill this guy.
It's fine. He can only have so much Zaz onto him. You gotta pull it. So only give you HP.
And then there was Dean.
Yep. Oh, actually, it's good. We staggered
Dean,
it.
do you think you can solo Elder, or do you want to?
And winning the first ever Bilgewater Brawl. Season 7 saw NYNB being dissolved, but did have a hint of their former selves as Blake, Mike, and PB reunited on MVP and were able to knock Rift Sharks out of playoffs yet again.
Oh, they're trying to make something happen mid here.
That matchup had previously resulted in the longest game of Scrim Zone history, reaching the 64-minute mark earlier in the regular season. PB was the only rostered member in Season 8, joining Rift Sharks to reach Season 8 finals.
Spirit Visage is coming through on both Volibear and Alawi is... Seraphine is caught here. Bardolt will come down, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects, and there goes your strongest member. Seraphine is just dead.
We're just getting caught on the side of Andromeda nonstop.
Atari forced to flash away, is not going to be able to get out, and Stanley going to be forced to run. Can't even do that.
Yeah, man. Well played to Rift just finding pick after pick after pick.
Yeah, this is going to be this might be a 5-for-0 for the side of Rift Sharks. Yeah, it comes through.
Where they were defeated by the greatest Scrim Zone roster of all time in a 3-0. Season 9 was almost a true return of the NYNB roster, seeing them join the Cam Captain Big Bananas, with the exception of PB, who finally obtained Scrim Zone Gold with Rift Sharks.
The game to end it all, so Metabusters has to pick this up.
Oh my god, there's a
Seraphine
big
got
fight
hit by
going
Nala
on.
Assault.
Oh my god, that
No,
assault.
Seraphine hit the wave.
Guys, I feel like it might be over.
It's okay.
Oh my god,
Vlad
it's
can
really tough to
5v1.
say. Yeah, I don't know if the Vlad can do anything.
Can the
He's just by
Vlad
himself.
defend here? Oh, my god, it's
just
literally
Vlad.
it's literally hit the Nexus, stop the Vlad! Oh my
Hit
god!
the Nexus, not the Vlad.
And that is game.
And that is game, I think. Holy!
Yeah.
BB was able to have a good showing in playoffs, upsetting 101 Thieves, the team that succeeded the original NYNB team slot up, which I think is super crucial, but they're looking for another pick onto Douglas, and if they're able to find it, it's going to be pretty bad. Juan playing Peel again, and this root is going to do a lot, and Cam actually able to find the ultimate, but the Thresh Lantern just comes through. And now Cam is just going to get locked up. Does Windwall the Thresh Hook, which is going to do some, but now Blake gets snared here. It's going to get flashed on. Huge play from Douglas. I'm not sure if it's going to matter. The Chain CC is coming down. Bouncy Castle for 101 Thieves, and Alex is able to find a kill, but the Lux are able to get enough damage down and to return to find one. And now Blake falling down low. It's 2 kills for one side. Now it's 2 kills for each side. Cam trying to get something done, and he is going to end up falling to the Varus. Varus actually able to find 2 here, but the Jinx resets are coming in, and this is going to be a pentakill for Alex if he's able to play it right. But Zinzao on top, and that is going to be a pentakill for Alex. BB Alex turning it up with the Jinx Penta, and he's just gonna base on that with the Baron buff. His colors are flying purple, but this game is looking bright banana yellow, but unfortunately fell to that same Metabusters roster. Season 10 is when NYNB fully returned, seeing the original branding come back with Blake claiming captainship. They started out strong, winning the Buster battle to start the season.
You really just need to watch the Silas. It's going to be all Solar Flare's going to come out, Zenithblade's going to follow. Silas grabs the Moonwall again, to be able to easily follow it up. They are playing directly into the affiliate's damage. Nothing's really coming out yet. It appears that, like, Metabus just doesn't have the damage here. Snow's going to be taken down as well, and this Silas is just rebelling on the Rift.
5-for-0
ace right over to New York. Nutbusters.
And taking down Albert's Inferno to go 2-0.
By the way, do we see Mike come up? I think he's going to be not caught in vision. I think they're just
Watch
buying
Unara.
time.
Unara has Infinity Edge for this fight.
Or on the backside, Mike comes through and just absolutely destroys on Kava. Picks up the clone and starts putting damage down. Albert is out of 3 people in the ultimate. Here's Ari, but Ari has no ultimate, so jumps in the middle of the fight without too much to do. That's going to be another kill for Alex. I think that's going to be Draco going down pretty quickly thereafter, and I imagine
They were defeated by the newcomers, Qualmless Chillers, but bounced back to win every remaining series.
Yeah, it is hard to...
I mean,
like this.
oh my god! Sun coming out onto a fire here should just be another one shot. Rengar is just chilling, bro. He's having the game of his life, by the way.
Except that against their former teammate Taxi and their former team BB.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, now the engage comes out. They're going to find so much damage onto every member of NYNB, and that's going to be game. They pick off both ADCs and just get completely wiped under their own towers. They got their revenge in playoffs, sending BB to the losers bracket in a 2-game series.
Not gotten that 4th item yet.
Looking for an engage, missing. Nami ult coming out, healing coming out, Jinxar coming out.
Huge
oh my
by
gosh!
Oh my god!
Everybody is dead.
And shocked the server, taking down the favored Qualmless Chillers in the same manner.
Shit. Oh! Muppet ult! Oh! 3-man ult! 4, everybody's in the ult! Everybody's in the ult! Oh my gosh. And that is game. There is no way that's not game.
All that is left now for Blake to claim his second championship, PB to win back-to-back, and the rest of the roster to see gold for the first time is to take down QC again.
Now it's a 4v1. A little bit interesting. They're not trying to burst out child birthday. What the fuck? What the fuck? How? No. And the game is just over. But how? But literally, how does Chow do it? They have.
Fighting Chris down there on the bot.
The stun comes out, but they do manage to
Here.
connect. The ulti
Oh,
comes
that's
out.
a bit too far. Nice.
Oh my gosh, the flash ulti!
Interruption coming in. And if no one's gonna get him, Chow with a big ulti in the back line. Everyone.
Tripar is going to be face checking here. Does go for the E. Stun connects. The ulti comes out. The
Now comes the MF. Kage's just obliterating them. Spiral's going to get taken down. It looks like it's just going to be a sweep almost. Evan doing everything he can. He's trying to move. He can't do it. Chow's just right on top of him. Dean all alone and not long for this world.
well played.
All right, hello everybody. I am joined by Blind Spiral. You can see him over there. I hope he is here. I believe he's deafened, but we are back and we are dressed up and ready for a Season 10 finals. This is actually super close to the Scrim Zone 5-year anniversary, which is completely massive. So I'm glad to have everybody on the stream watching, and I am very excited to see NYNB make it back to finals after 5 seasons and to see newcomers make it to the finals in their first season with Qualmless Chillers. This one's going to be a banger.
Yeah, I mean, the tale of two stories, right? You watch the long history of the New York Nutbusters and what they've done, where they've gone, who they are now, all that type of stuff. And then you've got Qualmless Chillers who are just, we're here to play now. It doesn't matter, we're here to win. And so it's a clash of two different styles. It's a clash of two different, super teams that absolutely deserve their spot in the finals. And, despite the 2-0 and the playoffs for QC to get knocked to the losers bracket, these teams have both looked really flawless in every single series they've played so far. Really this entire season, but especially come playoffs.
Yeah, I do want to hop right into it and look at some of the highlights we have. We actually have 8 minutes of curated content for us before the first draft, so we only have a couple minutes that we need to kill. Starting off with the featured matchup. For this first game, I want to look at Kage and Alex in the bot lane. They've only played against each other twice, and Kage has a nearly 7 KDA, with Alex looking about a 4. Alex, though, has been in the server for a lot longer. Both of these players having slightly negative KDAs in the AD carry position I find slightly interesting. And Caitlyn's their only shared champion and their top 5. What do you expect for this lane across the series today?
I think it's going to be a very big point of focus, right? We saw that in their first matchup. We saw that it was a lot of focus from PB and Alex here in the bottom lane, and that's kind of what started to get them going. And I think that you need to have a point of strength like that to be able to play away from QC's point of strength in that mid jungle duo, right? So I think that the Nutbusters have a way that is proven that they can take over games in their own fashion, and the fact that it's not strength against strength should kind of amplify the series and make it really exciting, because we might see both teams execute their game plan perfectly and then still one team end up losing in just an absolute slaughter when both teams run into each other inevitably in the middle of the game. And so I think this is a great featured matchup because Kage is kind of underrated in his role. Has an incredible KDA, maybe doesn't get talked about as much as Router Drakkar does, but still puts up consistency every single time he's playing in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and our featured players are going to be PB and Drakkar. I think there's no surprise there. And if you've been watching this season, you know the featured champions. Kage and Paul, we just saw highlights on these two champions with the Tarek and the Misfortune coming out, but time is ticking, so I do want us to get into an interview Gruer did for us with Rat.
Hey everybody, Gruer here with a super fun interview coming at you as we start this finals match. Who am I here with?
Yo, what's up? It's Rat Poisoning, big Qualmless Chillers captain. Excited to be here.
Rat,
the finals.
Thank you for taking the time for the interview. My first question for you, hitting you with a hard one. Where did the team name come from?
Oh, where did I get? Okay, so I originally heard the term Qualmless Chillers maybe like, I don't know, 3 years ago-ish or something like that. I don't even remember where I heard the term, but I thought it was hilarious. And then when I met like everybody that I know now, like all of the people that I brought into the server, we were all in a different server called League Tournament Discord, and that's where I met everybody. And everybody had like their own call, I guess. So my call was titled Rat's Qualmless Chillers, and then yeah, so I just kind of went from there as like an homage to our first server that we all met in.
No, I love that. So we got a lot of history there. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, your team has made it all the way to the finals, but I want to ask you, what's the journey been like? Is there any standout moment from your earlier matches that you really think back to?
I think that we've definitely been through some highs and been through some lows. I mean, it's pretty crazy that we lost our very first series to 1T and then went on to, you know, kind of wipe every other team. And then 1T didn't even make it to playoffs, so I think that there were definitely some things we had to figure out. Kind of had to narrow down some champ pools of what we liked and what goes well with other champions on the team to kind of formulate a comp, and a lot of flex picks and different people that play different things. So I think the early season was kind of our, you know, time to figure things out, and then we kind of figured it out towards the end. So
okay. How would you describe Qualmless's play style? Is it more of like a calculated type, or do you guys prefer the chaos, the aggression?
I think it kind of depends on the game time. I think early on in the game, we're a pretty calculated team, kind of calming literally everything that's happening. It's more reliant on Drakkar, our jungler, to do that and kind of tell us what his plan is. And then once we've kind of established a lead, then comes the aggression and the kill everyone.
Okay. How has your team's mindset been, you know, prepping for this match in particular? Anything specific you've focused on for the rematch here against New York Nutbusters?
Yeah, so I mean, without giving too much sauce, we usually will draft prep, like, especially me and Drakkar, but everybody else on the team helps a lot as well. We have like an entire spreadsheet with every single team, with all of our draft prep and scouting and everything. So sometimes we'll spend time on red and blue side drafts for like 3+ hours for each season or for each series. And then for NYNB, we've also spent a ton of time prepping draft and thinking about possible picks and possible situations we could get into. So I think that we're very well prepared.
Okay, okay. As the team captain, what's been the key to keeping everyone focused and working together during the tournament?
Well, I think that people on the team kind of look to Drakkar and myself as the shot callers and the kind of IGLs. So I think that if our mental gets compromised, then it really impacts the mental of everybody else. So sometimes Drakkar and I have to kind of remind each other of yo, lock in, no matter how much you get invaded or how many times I get ganked or whatever it is, how many people there are mid perma. It's just keep playing and keep your mental up, because it really does impact the gameplay and performance of everyone on the team.
I like that, and that's a really good answer. Okay, who would you say is the team's biggest hype player? Like, who gets the most hype during a fun team fight, a pop-off?
Oh, Kage for sure.
Okay.
It's gotta be Kage. If Kage hits an absolute banger, it's just or Paul, when Paul made the play where he I don't remember what series it was, but where he flashed the Terracle on top of Drakkar to save his life. That was just so insane.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
Everybody went crazy for that, but yeah, definitely Kage with the MF ults or, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be the deciding factor in the finals if you had to pick one thing that you think is going to be the most important? Draft, mechanics, teamwork, anything else?
I think the very most important thing is that I don't die 300 times to Malphite J4 ganks.
That will help. I agree. That will definitely help.
Not getting 3-manned and dying to it is probably the most important thing.
Heard. Okay, if your team wins, how are you celebrating?
Oh man, I mean, I'm getting the beers out for sure,
Heck
without
yeah.
a doubt. But I think most likely I'll just, I don't know, probably. What's most important for me is that everybody else on my team had fun and felt like they were valued, and everybody feels like they contributed to the game. So I'll probably just, go member by member on my team and kind of, congratulate them and, praise them for the things that they did good in the series and
I love
throughout
that.
the season.
Good luck, have fun, the QC. I hope we have a good series.
QC's great. QC seem like a bunch of sweethearts.
I want to say good luck to everyone on QC except for Rat. He's smelly.
I don't think I have any fans, but
I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. I have fans.
Mike said the same thing.
No, Mike has fans. Mike has Mason. I have haters. I have ops. I have shooters. To all my enemies, watch out. Urgh.
And our fans, we don't got any. I know that.
To people that are, I guess, the people who are rooting me on, thank you.
I want our team to be relaxed and calm. There's no reason to, overthink this series too much.
And shout out to my team. They're fucking awesome, and I'm grateful to be on the same team as them. They've been a real treat to play with this season. So
It's crazy how far, how many seasons I've played in this. I didn't realize I've been playing since season 3. It's crazy how far Scrimzone has gotten, and just how many teams we have, and how far I've able to see this server grow. Especially, it's very cool. Very cool. I like what we're all doing here, and it's very fun.
I just want everyone to have fun. Just keep calm and have some fun.
Nothing too crazy. I just hope that the series that we do put on against them is going to be a banger. As much as I would love it to be like a 3-0 sweep, I don't really want that because I don't think that would be as fun as going to 4 or 5 games, obviously. So my heart says 3-0, but in reality, I would really like it to be like a 3-1, 3-2 kind of scenario where we get to see a bunch of good games.
Oh, we don't want a 2-0 because that'd be bad content. No, let me win. It's been hold on 3 years, right? Since season 3. I need this. I need this. I keep calling myself the GOAT. I haven't won. It's bad. I need this.
Just kidding. I was muted. Those are some words from our two teams. Rat giving a kind of in-depth dive as the captain of QC, and then got to hear just some stuff that NYNB wanted to put out there before the series. We have some conflicting views from them on how quickly they wanted to win the series, but I think it's obvious that both teams just want to win here. We should be getting into draft anytime now. It is 9:10. Do you have any predictions as the first ban is about to come through?
First band's coming through. I'll be quick. Predictions. I think it's going to be a 5-game/4-game series because NYNB gets that extra game. I don't know which way it goes. I'm going to say QC now, but we'll see. Not to be a hater. Love how happy and team players, everybody that I talked to is just really looking forward to their teams doing well, playing with each other on the team, all that good stuff. So love to hear that. Rat, you don't have a webcam. We're going to have to, we got to figure that out, Rat. But we are in the pick bands, which are going here right now. All the bands are coming out.
Yeah, everything looks normal to me. They're sniping the Nico from PB's solo queue games. I think they're actually Norm's games. I was talking to him the other day, though, and he said he was not going to play it. Maybe that's a joke. QC clearly thinks he's going to, and then they end up first picking Ziggs, which is something that I think is pretty new for this team.
Yeah, well, it leaves open the AD mid laners. We like to see Drakkar play someone that's really AD heavy. Rat has a lot of AD heavy mid lanes as well. But on the opposite side, you see there's 3 bands of the Osprey, the Zed, the Kiana band out. So, I mean, we could see a Ziggs mid. I think it's so much better functionally in the bottom lane. We'll see if that's what Kage ends up doing with it, as we do see some picks coming back in here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Yunara Aurora is something that you completely expect. Yunara's been slammed by Alex a bunch of these games. Maybe it's just their counter to it. We see Maokai coming out. That's comfort for Chow. He was playing a little off comfort last time these teams faced. And Kindred locked in for, I believe, Rat jungle. I think they've banned the Yasuo and Kiana away, and Rat is now playing this in the jungle, which means Drakkar is open to go in any remaining role. I've heard talks of him going support. We've seen him go mid before. Maybe we could see Drakkar on this Ziggs, but it's completely open-ended, and that's going to make draft so hard for NYNB.
And look, I know this is a bit of a mental thing, but you see the draft prep coming in. QC locked in Ziggs immediately. They locked in Maokai and Kindred immediately. And I'm not saying it caused a hesitation for the Nutbusters, right? But it took them a long time to figure out their pick. QC is happy, I think, with how this draft is going, with how quickly they're locking things in. Wukong gets picked here, which is a bit of a flex. And now the second phase of ban comes out. And again, hopefully Nutbusters is prepared to a similar level, because it's going to change things completely now that we probably think it's a Rat Kindred jungle. Could be Drakkar
and this Zoe
still,
ban coming through shows that QC's ruse has worked. As someone who has studied the QC and just ball knowledge, I guess, to say, Rat is most likely the one on Kindred, and he's the Zoe player, which makes this a very interesting ban here. I wonder if NYNB knows something that we don't, or QC's just kind of pulled off a heist here, and they've gotten a ban removed from NYNB's side.
Well, we see the continued bans coming out. Zoe again towards mid lane, Alistar again towards support. So a lot of respect, but it kind of comes back to both these teams kind of have not their how they're going to win plan, right? It's not like these other lanes don't matter, but their game plans are being heavily respected right now with these bans that have come back and forth.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that Braum Tarek wasn't taken away. I feel like that's a very easy lock from NYNB, but maybe that they're worried that the Maokai could be support, which I do think is a valid concern, or that if they ban out those 2 champions, Paul's just going to go mid lane. And I think NYNB is one of the teams where Paul mid is not necessarily going to be punished super hard.
It more than likely not, especially when you add in the extra confusion of who's going where just by locking in a Kindred. And we see the clock ticking now, 7 seconds left until the pick comes in, excuse me, a little bit less, but it does get picked, and it's a Milio support here. So Wukong still has some flex ability. Aurora kind of as well. I've seen a bit of Aurora top here and there. So really it could be a pivot in any which way for the Nutbusters, which is a great way to hold their last pick. And now we see a bit of hesitation from the Qualmless Chillers in terms of what they want to do as the clock ticks down for them.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioning that flex is actually pretty interesting. We've seen Alana play the Aurora top before, and Blake mid could definitely get some work in against the opponent. And this is actually really smart from NYNB. They did not ban out the supports because the Maokai is going to end up going bot lane, and we have Sai on top, and Blake is going to get this R5 pick. Wukong, I actually think, is a pretty good counter to Sion, so we could see Blake picking that, but I honestly think we're going to see a more aggressive and signature champion coming out from Blake. With only the Malphite and Mordekaiser taken away from him, he has a lot of picks that are still left up.
Just a couple seconds left until we see the last pick. Will it be a traditional AD carry? It
God
will. So
fucking
it'll be a
damn
Ziggs
it.
mid. It's going to
No,
be
this could be Smolder mid. We've seen this work against NYNB before. That was into the Malzahar, but I think it could still have value into the Aurora. It's a safer champion that can just free farm and stack up and be absolutely devastating in the late game. And now you have double poke with a more DPS focused marksman with Kindred. So it's going to be absolutely brutal to play into QC, especially if they end up getting an Infernal or Hextech Soul. Or are able to kind of deny a Mountain or Ocean Soul against NYNB. But Gwen is going to be the lock-in for Blake. That's a very good matchup into Scion, and we'll have to see how it gets played out. Gwen Wukong is a very good mixed damage threat in the jungle. Not as good as the You Can't Touch This combo with Gwen and Xin Zhao, but it is close. It is going to be very powerful.
Wasn't it funny? We've sat here and talked about the bottom lane for NYNB and the mid jungle combo for QC. And I really think that this game could be won or lost through top lane. If your Scion gets ahead, it's petrifying. If your Gwen gets ahead, it's petrifying. And so while we've talked about how the rest of the map needs to have this impact, or they're going to need to play through bottom, or what can Jakar and Rat do together and all that type of stuff, it probably is really going to come down to how does this top lane go? And does that cause any pivots from the jungle plan, the jungle pathing? Does it cause a double down on what they had before and say, you've got the Gwen matchup, you've got the counter, you're on your own? Does that game plan change when we're loading in and we see maybe Jakar Rat in the place they aren't supposed to be? Or if they did send Blake mid or something like that and send Alana top with the Aurora, it's going to get really funky really quickly. And I feel like these teams can talk about all the different plans in the world, but it doesn't matter so much until we're really loading into the game here. And just really excited to get this finals going. Game 1, obviously Nutbusters is up 1-0 from the winners bracket, so it's going to be weird calling it game 1 with a 1 game advantage already, but just excited. I mean, these players are imagining the same thing as they get in their finals here. And that's something you can speak to. Your humble brag earlier in the server, but you've played in 2 back-to-back finals, and now we're getting ready to go into one. From your perspective of being there so many times, what are these players feeling right now, and do you have any advice for them?
Honestly, I feel like a lot of the playoff nerves kind of go away once you've made it to finals. And maybe that's a hot take. At least that's how it's been in my experience. But I think even if you're not feeling the nerves, they can still affect your gameplay. We've had a lot of players who have had really incredible semifinals performances, or losers finals, winners finals, whatever you want to call it, the series right before, and then they end up reaching finals and then they don't have as good of a performance, or you end up overcooking your draft or something like that happens and we see something fall apart. I feel like NYNB being on more comfort here is going to favor them a little bit. QC's pulled out a lot of stuff that I think looks really good in draft, but that could end up being something that hurts them in the long run. And as we're looking at the past performance stat, I will say we're probably wrong with about the roles of some of these people, but we see 4 first times for QC and 1 player who's gone 0-2. And looking over at NYNB, we have so many wins across the board in the server on these champions. Something you did call out with the Aurora Gwen flex, not sure if Alana's been playing it this season, but Gwen is one of Alana's best top laners, so we could see that flex come through, but just looking at the lobby, I don't think that's going to happen. I believe the correct display here would be the Kindred being for Rat and the Smolder being for Drakkar, although I am not sure if the Ziggs or Smolder are in the right lanes yet. I don't think they asked.
Yeah, and I think that we'll probably find out as a team here as we start to load in and know for sure.
Yeah, it is going to be Smolder mid, it looks like.
Okay, so that kind of answers some of those questions. The question then just also becomes who's playing it and all that good stuff too. But to your point on the champions and how many times they've been played, I mean, the KDAs all looked really good for the side of the Nutbusters. Mike's only played it once in the jungle, and it was 2.0, so nothing spectacular there. And Aurora's was a little bit lower on Alana, but about 23 games, I think it was. So lots of comfort there, and comfort maybe matters than your KDA. If you know when to go for the right play, that'll change your KDA, especially in a big matchup like this, where these 2 teams are on a collision course for the next couple hours, I would say at least.
Yeah, I will add that the past performance only tracks that specific role. So Alana actually does have more than 23 games of Aurora in the server. Some of them are top lane. And looking at the champ matchups here, I think NYNB has had very effective counter picks. The only one that doesn't look good stat-wise is the Gwen, but I believe that's a lot of people slamming Gwen who should not be playing Gwen, or it's a bad Gwen spot. But the Yunara and Wukong both have one game against their counterpart, Wukong having an infinite KDA versus the Kindred's 0.5, and the Yunara Ziggs being 6.2 to 3. If they're able to push these advantages and get a matchup similar to what's been played before, I think NYNB was really smart in their draft. I think this is going to come down to execution. If this Smolder Ziggs Kindred gets a lead, it's going to be absolutely unstoppable, and QC has shown that they're very good around playing around junglers. However, NYNB has the early advantage to get snowballing, and if this Yunara gets fed, or the Gwen or the Wukong or the Aurora, really any of these members, it's going to be so hard for QC to come back until you kind of get to that 45-50 minute mark where it's basically just going to be a guaranteed win for QC because of how hard their composition scales.
Yeah. Looking at how the Kindred paths and the plan and can they work together to get those stacks is going to be really, really, really important. The communication from both these teams is going to be more important than ever because you're now playing a game within a game with the Kindred existing. And if they can hold that down just a little bit and keep the stacks a little bit lower earlier on and then force some team fights around that objective, when your Kindred doesn't have the range, it could just be a big advantage. And if New York Nutbusters can find that advantage and push it, they'll be in a good spot. I definitely feel like they have the ability to snowball maybe a bit more easily than the side of Qualmless Chillers because it takes a bit of scaling from the Smolder, the scaling from the Kindred. But if they can get an advantage and start to push it, they can be in a really good spot, especially with a Gwen, who has the ability to just absolutely take over a game. If things go well and you're in the right Gwen spot, like you mentioned earlier, you need to have that right spot. This is a really good spot for the Gwen. And so it's just going to come down to execution, like you said.
Yeah, and honestly, if there's anybody in this game that has proven time and time again that they can single-handedly clutch a game, especially one that's important, it is Blake. So Blake having this Gwen in his hands, it's the R5 counter pick. NYNB had the free win and side select advantage in the first game. If they're able to secure this, it puts them in such a good position for the rest of the series. It would mean that they only need to win 1 out of the next 3 games. But if they lose it, then it just comes down to a normal best of 3 with them having side select again, which is an advantage that we've seen help time after time. Although honestly, not really in playoffs this season. We've seen a lot of sweeps. So I think if QC ends up winning the first game, we could be in store for a 3-1 for QC, no matter who has side select. We've seen so many sweeps. I'm really hoping we see some back and forth tonight. But yeah, we'll have to see. We should be getting into game now. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think side select is obviously super duper important. It's going to come down to how you use that and whether or not teams are able to execute the benefits that come with it or have the game plans they need and all that good stuff. But we are loading in Spectator. That dreaded 3-minute delay takes it forever, it feels like, when we're kind of getting ready to go into it. But we're just about there here and can't wait to get this one going here. Early predictions for this game. We talked about the series overall, but your thoughts, Dean? Anything that we haven't touched on that we haven't gotten a touch on before we are stuck screaming about team fights?
I am honestly not sure. I think it's all going to come down to execution. Someone is going to make some early play that's going to be absolutely massive and turn the tide of the game, and that is going to be what matters. I just do not know who it's going to be. I've had the privilege of getting to watch all the interviews with all the players that we have uploaded as I was kind of testing them out. And yeah, I mean, both teams feel super confident. So it's a toss-up. It's anyone's game here. Just make sure you end up streaming the game to me so we can get the replays working. Once you're in.
I am not able to get into Spectate, unfortunately. So
okay,
that might be an issue for game 1, but we'll get there game 2.
Yep, no worries. Both teams are clumping up. I think a very counter-invade strategy coming out from both teams, looking to punish any team who has some aggression showing. But yeah, no team is looking to be very aggressive on their own. We see this in pro play a lot, where you reach game 5 of a series and teams kind of clam up and play less aggressive than they have previously and kind of play even more defensively to punish mistakes. We don't get too many game 5s in this series, in this server, so I think this whole series is probably going to be like that, especially with both of these teams like NYNB is looking to spike at 6, and then QC is just looking to kind of scale up infinitely as the game goes on.
Well, fairly standard start, nothing too exciting, but maybe in the bot lane we'll have something. Some damage.
I'm honestly doubting any of these lanes are really going to see an all-in. I think if anywhere, it's going to be a 2v1 gank against Alana, or Blake's going to look for an all-in against the Scion once he has some abilities going. This Gwen Scion lane can be so brutal.
Both junglers are topside as well, so expecting a full clear-ish. We do have some vision on the Wukong, so Mike will be spotted out in terms of whether he continues on or looks for something up in the top lane. I think it'd be a little bit interesting to do that, but there is an angle for Kindred with how Gwen's pushing. But I think level 2 Kindred gank, really not the best or the most ideal thing to kind of have happen at the same time.
Yeah, NYNB doing a good job of getting level 2 advantage in pretty much any lane. I think all 3 of them were able to achieve it first, except maybe mid, which we didn't get to see. Blake getting so much damage value out of it. Sion's trading back a little bit, but nothing that's going to matter against a Gwen. She has so much healing built into her kit. And the bot lane just looks completely in control for New York Nutbusters. They're up CS and they're up damage.
They do need to be cautious because I do know that both junglers are pathing this way, as I mentioned already, but we're still about 30-45 seconds away from anything crazy happening. We already see PB roaming a bit as well for some extra vision, or maybe just to see if he can spot out a Kindred, getting the extra control for whichever mark or whatever Scuttle Crab the mark spawns on as well could be helpful if it ends up on the bottom side. If it ends up on the top side, you've got the Gwen Prio too, so should be okay there.
Yeah, it's in Mike's advantage that he's matching the Kindred for the Scuttle mark. It means that he basically has a chance to contest it no matter what. It is going to spawn topside, so they might both path there, or they're both going to give it up. If it's a scenario where the Kindred and Wukong are switched, it basically gives Kindred a 50-50 chance of just getting her first mark for free. In this case, both junglers are just immediately pathing up towards it. Kindred is going to get there first, and this is something that we're going to want to look at here because these marks can be so pivotal. Kindred actually getting to start it up first, and she is just going to be able to smite it away, but does not have smite, and Mike is able to steal it away, and they start the engage off. PB taking damage in the bot side, and I think Kindred is just going to be able to hop away here with Drakkar having mid lane prio.
That's so unfortunate for the Qualmless Chillers there. Thinking you've got the mark, you've got it down to a smiteable level, and it's not there. I think Rat smited the camp to kind of get to that point quickly. But in the end, Mike on the Wukong able to come up there and take it away for himself and continue clearing. So
yeah, and here's so much damage coming out from Blake. It looked like he was going to chase that, but just not enough cooldown on the E yet to be able to maintain that.
Chow doing a pretty good job staying up there in farm too. Only 5 down, but the wave coming that way. Grasp of the Undying doing its thing to kind of help, which is convenient. But it's such an oppressive matchup for Chow. Just trying to hold on as long as they can, I imagine, at the top lane and wait for some angles for Kindred, or just be the weak side and just try to hold the Gwen down as long as possible. But Gwen does have the ability to just take over a game. Teleport does come back up topside for him.
Yeah, NYNB has a 200 gold lead right now, but I think the biggest lane advantage is in the mid lane. Drakkar is playing the Smolder very well, is able to have a large CS advantage, and has the largest health advantage in the game right now. Alana doing a good job of farming from behind, but is still almost at a 20 CS deficit, which is what you want to see as the side of Qualmless Chillers.
Yeah, just 5 minutes into, I mean, you extrapolate that, it turns into more and more and more of a lead, and on a Smolder, that's just scary. Getting a cull, continue to look for the scaling. Reset timers coming out for the entire side of Qualmless Chillers, as we just saw back from bottom lane and mid lane at the same time. We saw Sion coming back as well, so Qualmless Chillers spending all their gold pretty early and in a good spot, and nothing objective just yet happening. Really, the bulk of the fighting that we've seen from in the top lane, bit of a passive farmish fest everywhere else, but we do see a level 6 for Blake here before Sion, but then Sion gets it right here just a moment after, so nothing to exploit just yet in the top lane there in that regard. It really is going to come down to what impact can the junglers make, and do we see an early dragon? We do see Wukong looking like they're going to head towards the top side, and we do see that Rat is down here. It's just a matter of there's no vision on that though, right? And no, it looks like Rat's going to go for a recall as well, so Mike a little bit ahead of Rat in the tempo in the jungle game here.
Yeah, and speaking of the junglers, I actually don't like the Scion's itemization for this reason. Gwen's able to do a lot of true damage in her kit, so a health crystal and null magic is honestly a decent purchase just into Gwen by herself, but not having any armor, you basically have no extra defensive stats against the Wukong if he chooses to gank, which is super scary for the Scion, and he might be punished for it.
Yeah, speaking of Wukong ganking, hovering around the top side, but
yeah,
I think
there is a fight breaking out here. I think Rat is going to have the advantage in here. Wukong already needing to path towards top. Smolder has first rotation, but now Alana's here and can collapse, has the ultimate available, and no ult is available for Rat, but they're not able to find the rotation. Drakkar needing to flash and ultimate away, but now Blake's on top of him, has used the ultimate already, and it was not enough. And now NYNB in such an awkward spot here. Blake going in for the damage does not have enough. Mike going in is not able to find the kill at first, but then is able to find it. Kage dropping down low under tower is not going to be killed, but it's a 2-4-1 in favor of QC on the top side of the map, and that is really good for them, especially because they're going to be able to secure a kindred mark for themselves and steal away some of Mike's camps, and this is a huge advantage going over to QC, the team who I thought was a little weaker in terms of draft in the early game.
Man, I can hear Brewer in my head right now. I don't know about you, but we got the flash back off, and New York Nutbusters did it. They got the flash away from both Jakar and Rat. They continue to chase. They get split. They get collapsed on, and Qualmless Chillers, just a great capitalization on that. Great execution for Mike to be able to go ahead and pick one back up on Jakar, who was low, when he realized he was kind of on his way out too. But man, that went as good as it could have for as bad as it looked for the Qualmless Chillers.
And Rat actually was able to secure the mark that time. It looked a little close with Gwen being there and Wukong being on the red buff, but they decided to just give it over. And now Blake just trading up again on the top side.
Just a fist fight here in the top lane for these two. It's just so sad. Like, it's just, I mean, we do see the Chow starting to push back out a bit, which is nice. Get some good damage too on a Blake, but it's just a scrap.
It looks like the Grubs are going to be started up by Rat here. If they can get all three on a Scion, it's going to make the split push threat absolutely irritating for NYNB to deal with. It wasn't something that we were able to do too much when we were playing against QC, but I think QC's playstyle, especially with these scaling wave clearing champions, Scion's going to be able to get so much damage done. And even though you do have champions that can shred them, you're not doing it quickly.
Yeah, there's a couple champions that I think that in this game that if they get Grubs, it's just miserable to deal with. And interestingly enough, two of them in this game with Gwen and Scion, no priority at all from the Nutbusters. I mean, we see that Mike is down here stealing red buff, which is great, but man, the gold from that red buff and what you do with this red buff is not going to make up for the difference in cost or come close to it with 3 Void Grubs on a Scion. And that's just great execution from the Chillers. A little bit of maybe misplay.
Yeah, you might get a gank though. He's going in. The ult is dropped onto Kage's head immediately. Really good W, and he's rooted up, not able to follow to finish off the Ziggs. And Drakkar is really good rotation. He's here, able to get some damage down, stacks at least. Not sure if he's going to be able to find the kill, but you're able to keep Kage alive. Had already burned his flash, so that's not a cooldown that you're getting right now. And I think they're going to be able to get Dragon off of this with no Wukong ult available.
Really good rotation, great gank. I think that was an insane Maokai ult. It was just perfect. It stopped everything that it needed to in its tracks. Maokai did what it needed to do, and it worked so effectively the Dragon's just going to be taken for free here. They burn a lot trying to get that kill, and I think if you get that kill, it turns into Dragon for the Nutbusters, but it didn't, and it just goes over the Chillers.
Yeah, this is where the finals pressure really gets to you. A couple plays go wrong in a row. You don't get the kill that you want to on the bot side of the map. But now Blake is dropping the ultimate, should be able to pick up the kill, takes a tower shot, and it might be enough. And that's actually a counter kill for Chow, and that is Feats of Warfare going over to Qualmless Chillers. And they have the objective advantage too. This is probably going to be the upgraded boots going over to them this game.
I think you got to be happy with that, right? When you're playing Scion, if you can pick up a kill, I mean, you're down some CS and all that good stuff, but if you can pick up a kill when they kill you, I feel like you take that any day of the week. Well played from Chow there. Just a little too aggressive from Blake, but knowing that Blake needs to push that advantage, just gets a little bit too excited there. That tower shot, probably the death sentence for him there.
And as I was saying, I think the nerves are probably going to be starting to set in for some of the players on NYNB, but I think it's worth mentioning that in the finals win that we did see for Blake earlier, he did end up losing the first game and was able to lock in and had a performance so good that I feel like he was kind of single-handedly able to turn the series around there. So I would not count NYNB out if they end up getting farther down in this game, regardless of what people have been saying about curses this playoffs. As we see Mike go top, he does have the flash available. Ultimate is ready. Not going to use it on the Scion, though. There are higher value targets that are going to be available later.
That stinks. You almost wish he used it just to get that kill and the pressure that would have come with it, but I don't blame him for holding it here, especially when we don't know where Rat is on the map.
Yeah, Alana looking for a solo kill here, gets so much damage onto Drakar, and now we're cutting to bot lane where they're almost going to die down there. I think Drakar is going to be able to live. PB dropping so low is not going to end up dying. Really good W for Kage to hit PB, but it's just not enough. Looking back at mid lane, Drakar's been able to heal up a little bit since that initial trade, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to die in these plays.
No, but they're ready to fight, though, aren't they? Like, both these teams across the entire map are just ready for
violence. The dive coming back out now, though, and Paul's able to get onto Alex, but Alex just cutting towards tower. Kindred ultimate is available to keep him alive. Looks like Alex is going to go down, but not after killing Kage. Is able to pick it up, and actually Rat went too far. He went into Mike, and they're able to even out the kills. It's 4 for 4.
Oh, no. Disaster for Qualmless Chillers. They push their advantage. They recognize Wukong's top. They know they've got all the time in the world to make this dive happen. They can be greedy and go for it a second time, and it didn't work. That's such unfortunate timing, too. A Mark spawning right there on the Gromp, so they're able to pick that back up in the end. Good rotation from Alana to come down this way in case it got really spicy. Good capitalization from Mike to just recall and run right down there and pick that back up, and evens up the kills, basically evens up the gold. 400, 300, not so much of a difference here. 13 minutes into the game, but it just got interesting again. The aggression paying a little bit too much of a price for both these teams at one point in time. Good thing Plain Bagel was here to help that from that fight stopping right there.
Yeah, definitely a bummer that we're not able to have replays working for this game. I would have loved to see what happened to Rat there, but I think just good punish from Mike. I don't think he had to use the ultimate for that either. It's still up. Rat wasn't able to use his ult either. So I'm thinking maybe the Milio Q was what caused the CC there, or maybe just didn't have quick enough of a trigger finger to save himself there. I'm like shaking in excitement. This game is so good so far.
Well, the tricky thing about all this happening is Drakar just sitting here, spamming abilities, getting the stacks, 135 farm, 20 more than anybody else in the entire game. Just been sitting in mid lane, just got their first plate, looking for a second one here. Drakar, with all the chaos around him right now, is probably just happy that things are happening the way that they are, and is probably telling his team, if they're getting any jitters or anything like that, calm down, calm down. It's okay. We've got this. Won't get a second plate from the plates dropping off, which would have been nice, but Drakar in a good spot with how this is going, and you see them move in unison. You got to come secure this this mark for Rat here.
Yeah, and Rat's currently sitting on 4 marks. That's the first upgrade. Kindred basically isn't a champion until she gets 4, so that is putting her past that threshold. Good dodge from Alana, able to survive there. Does not have the TP yet, so kind of wants to stay to catch this wave, but is going to get dove by Rat if they don't leave. And Flash coming out from Drakar, and that is going to be a solo kill for Drakar, and he's about to complete the call too. That's going to be such a big gold spike, and they're looking to complete first tower here. But Mike's here to defend it. Is going to dash the wave, try and kill them off. Tower shots are going to start being taken by Drakar, but Mike's just going to dash out, not going to look for the fight here.
Yeah, smart there, right? You know, I think you see a lot of times people will try to go for a fight, and maybe if I hit him enough, I can get him off the tower, when the logical play is just to clear that wave and say, go ahead and keep attacking the tower if you want to, because you can't. A little bit greedy there by Alana to try to stay when they were so low, but you know, good rotation from Mike to make sure it just turned into one solo kill instead of anything else from there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it looked like Alana booked it as soon as they figured it out. It just wasn't enough. Kindred's so mobile. And Alex is just caught here. Milio flashing forward to try and heal. It is not enough, though. And Ultimate and Flash are burned away from PB, and I think that is going to cost them. This Dragon is probably just going to have to get seeded over to QC, which would give them upgraded boots. Blake falling low and actually goes into turret range and ends up dying, too. Things are falling apart on the map for NYNB right now.
That's tough. It almost looked like it was just a pixel or maybe another step or two to get away from the Maokai ult there, but it caught the very edge. Blake dying top lane, Dragon being there. That's tough. That's the curse of the 80 carries, right? Okay, let me push this one more wave, and then I'll come to Dragon. Instead, you know, just the team loses the objective now. And Drakar just not happy with that once they find more, but Kage picks up the bottom tower, and just a deep breath needed from NYNB right now. It's not a crazy goal lead where they're out of the game by any means. They just need to take a deep breath and figure out what their game plan is moving forward. But they've got to figure it out quickly because the side of QC has the potential to scale, as we've mentioned many, many times now. And they're well on their way. All the objectives so far this game have been taken by Qualmless Chillers. They've got the first tower as well. So, you know, it's looking more and more interesting. And it is going to be Hex Gates activate here. So some extra movement speed around the map and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, not to speak too soon, but speaking of figuring things out, I think NYNB might need to figure out what to do about the Smolder in the next draft. Maybe even the Kindred too. It was picked as a counter into Malzahar in the BB series by NYNB's former teammate Taxi, specifically into the Malzahar, but it seemed to require an Aurora ban in that series. But as we see now, I don't think the Aurora is much of a problem for it. Mike now going under tower forces the ult out, but they see Rat poke his head out of the jungle and they need to back off. That's an ultimate, 2 ultimates actually invested for no return on the top side, as Ziggs is going to take the second turret of the game, as Ziggs does.
Great rotation from Rat there to make sure he's in the area. Stops kind of all that from happening. Don't know that it would have killed the Scion because they are big and beefy and all that good stuff, but really put a pause on everything else. But with all that burnt, I don't think that they have the ability to fight for Rift Herald, and it's just going to be another objective going over here to Qualmless Chillers. Just playing it super slow, super smart, and just kind of, I wouldn't say it's mistakes the Nutbusters are making, right? But they're just capitalizing on the plans that aren't working out the way that the Nutbusters expected. Just with that last dragon, with this Rift Herald, just good stuff. But we might see Drakkar in a tricky spot.
Yeah, no ultimate available for Mike is going to be key here, and Alana's ultimate is not going to get them any closer to reaching Drakkar, so this play just fizzles out, and getting to keep Drakkar alive when he has no flash for free is very valuable for this team. Blake is going to look to chop down this turret. As long as he doesn't touch the Scion, it's going to be really easy. Does end up hitting the Scion. Chow missing the ultimate, which might matter, but Blake is just going to try to run away here, and it should be very easy for that to happen. That is the one good thing that's happened for NYB in like the past 5 minutes, it feels like.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a morale boost to get it back in the game, and Blake takes that tower. A bit of a misplay from both those guys up there in the top lane with the slight misses, but ultimately it doesn't matter so much in the end. It's just now there's no objectives up for another 2.5 minutes, and so I feel like if you're NYNB, you've got to find an angle, push a tempo, do something somewhere, but it looks like it's coming from the opposite direction as QC maybe looking to go on Alana here.
Yeah, Alana is pinched here. No ultimate available. Was used to try and chase down Drakkar earlier. That's just going to be another kill. Gifted over to the Smolder. That's 3-1-1. That sheet item is going to be completed real soon, it feels like.
Yeah, that's just tough. Drakkar won't be able to take this tower, maybe on the next wave. But again, we talk about we need to see some tempo here from the Nutbusters, but we haven't seen it just yet. And so, looking tricky. Does Drakkar just continue to go here? No, maybe just a bit of scare tactics in a sense, but nope, they won't stay for the tower either. They're going to go ahead and back away. Do we see something on Chow now? Oh.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to be able to kill the Scion. No ultimate here, though, and it is 3 members from NYNB up on the top side. TP invested from Alana. I'm not sure if it's going to have much value here. I think this play is just disengaged, and that's a free teleport gotten out from QC.
Well, what's also petrifying is you still see Drakkar in the bottom lane just hammering away, and the teleport already came through. No teleport available, and Drakkar can just stay
and
down
now
there.
Engage coming out on Blake. He is pinched, and he's just going to fall down. But Mike with a huge ultimate gets so much damage down onto Rat. The second burst is not going to be able to take Rat out. Rat's still holding ultimate here, and they're going to be able to kill Mike before the ult goes off. He flashes into the Ziggs ult, and now Kindred ulti is coming through, and it's going to be just wraps for NYNB. 3 of them are dead. Alana trying to kite this out, but only the Maokai has fallen. Now the Scion too. And Alana might be able to get out with the Blast Cone, but instead chooses to use the Hex Gate, which is going to cause their death.
Oh,
a little bit of just a misplay. I feel like that's a stress moment happening there, and this Otacon might just be free.
Yeah, misplay or misclick. That's just so unfortunate. You see Alana pick up the second one and looking to run to try to get away from that, but isn't able to make it happen, and they are going to start the Otacon. Yunara had to back away and try to be the answer to the Drakkar there, and as soon as they saw that happen, they knew that their window was there for the Chillers to go. They take that, they take Otacon, which is maybe arguably the most important objective in the game at this point, with the way we've seen the impact for it at Worlds at least. And yeah, things are going right for the Qualmless Chillers so far here in this one as we pass the 21-minute mark. Nothing too crazy happening just yet. We do see Dragon getting ready to spawn here in a moment, so wouldn't be surprised to see an all-out brawl coming through. But Ultimate's still all down just barely for the side of the Nutbusters. Very similar story for Qualmless Chillers. You wonder if both these teams are going to try to wait it out.
TP coming here, but whoever this is, I believe it's Blake, is caught so badly, has to use whatever her W is called, but goes in. The Alana's ult comes through, not be able to get too much here. Blake going in, almost picks up the kill on Kage, but might fall down to the Ziggs. And yeah, just the burn for the Ziggs is going to be enough. Rat taking it out Alana, and that's 2 kills in QC's favor. Chow looking for a kill onto Alex, but not able to find it. And Rat is now going to get collapsed on by Mike, but the Blast Gun's able to help out so much here. And now Mike is ulting into Drakkar Rat, and is just going to get burned down as he walks through. That's a 3 for 0 for QC, and they're going to get Soul Point here. This game is looking over.
Yeah, he was just surrounded at that point. You see the angle that Blast Cone, once it pushed him over the wall too, he looked for the engage and there was nothing there. I don't know if you saw, did you see Rat just run through the entire fight on the Rift Herald and had to crash it in the Dragon Pit to try to get out and back alive? Man, I wish our replay idea worked, but you know, it's a little bit scuffed. But that was funny. But 3 for 0, not what you expected with how that fight looked. To not get a single kill is just really challenging, I imagine, on the mental of the Nutbusters here as they take another tower with this. And just Rift Herald plus Ziggs is just a really scary combination. And, you know, Chillers are executing it at the level that they need to.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking after draft that if QC's carries get a lead, it's just going to be over for NYNB. And all 3 of their damage carries are 4-1 right now. That's absolutely not what you want to see for NYNB. Is kind of doomed. The only good news is that Kindred has not reached 7 marks yet, which I feel like is that breakpoint that makes her a little better than every other champion in the game. I feel like 4 is what you need to be a champion at minimum, and then 7 gets you to be a little better, and then 10 makes you the most broken champion in the game, and anything past that, it's just wraps.
It's just for fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we do know the good news in my mind is that we have Gwen in the game, right? And I think with a good split push from Gwen, or if she can get to a point where she's in a really good spot, absolutely has the ability to go and do things. I think if Gwen can find a good angle onto the back line, is able to avoid the Maokai ult, you know, get past the twisted advance and all that good stuff, that Gwen and Blake should be able to do a lot of fun stuff here. It's just a matter of if it happens. Do we just see Mike and Drakkar fight here? I don't think that's a fight you 100% want to take.
There's no way. Drakkar's just going to leave. He can kite that out so easily. The only gold lead that NYNB has in the game is a 200 gold lead in top, and there are thousands of gold in basically every other role. It is very hard for them to play, but as you said, Gwen could be the bright spot for them. She's about to hit 3 items, which would make her the strongest member, I think, of the entire game. I'm not seeing anyone else be at that 3-item breakpoint. Smolder is damn close, though.
Yeah, and just the concern of the problem really is just there's not much of the tempo pushing that you need.
All kills if it hits there. It does not, but that just shows the power of the Smolder in this game.
Awfully close. But the Nutbusters need to be pushing a tempo somehow. And I look, I understand you, viewer at home. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. What I am saying is if they don't, they lose. If they do, it's not a good place, but like, you've got to make something happen somewhere, and they're going to try up here in the top lane.
Yeah, the ult could come through for Mike, but he's trying to hold it, and I don't think he's going to need it. This is really good for NYNB. They get the free kill punish, and Chow is not going to be able to take any of these members down. Blake going down just to try and take some of the damage off, but the grass proc from Chow actually just so much damage, and he's able to clear out most of the wave. They're grouping up on Nash here. This Nash start would be absolutely wild from NYNB, but it might be the play they need to win the game. Drakkar does have TP available, but I think if he goes for it, Alana can just go for the burst and try and get the kill. He is pulling the trigger here. He's teleporting.
Teleport coming in.
But a match by, I believe, Alana and PB there. But so much damage coming down. The Kindred ultimate is going to save the entirety of NYNB. They're able to find 1 kill. The Maokai is falling down, but Rat lives on like 10 health. Alana taken down to win the fight for QC, and that's 5 dead, 3 alive, and they're teleporting to mid lane. They want this game to be over at 26 minutes. It's going to be hard, but with Ziggs, it is possible. 30-second death timers on everybody except the support. That fight was huge. Kindred looked like she kind of griefed by bailing out NYNB, but Rat living on the tiniest sliver of health that we've seen this game. And that might just be it. 3 grubs is so powerful. They don't have the Nash. I don't think they need it. Respawn's coming in 10 seconds, though. If NYNB turns this around, it could be huge. Ziggs Bomb looking to take out both towers. It is not quite going to work. I don't think it was able to take down either, but love the attempt. And this is going to be game 1 going over to QC. Is the curse real? Are they going to sweep 3-0?
Well, we've got at least 2 more games until we can find out if that's the case. You know, call me crazy. I love the Baron call. I think that, you know, a lot of people, when I play games, will like flame me for things like that. I feel like when you're down and you're not in a good spot like that, you've got to try something somewhere. And so it's like, okay, well, we can either lose this slowly or we can sneak a Baron and recover, or we just, you know, lose the Baron and lose the game kind of thing. And so I don't hate that call. A little desperate. Unfortunate that all the vision wasn't cleared out, and we could see the rotation that they for sure were on Baron, and Qualmless Chillers were able to rotate. Good TP from Jakar. It looked scary at first, right into the middle of the fight, but then everything went fine. And to your point, I really thought the Kindred ultimate was going to be a complete grief, and then ended up working as Rat's able to escape. They just mop up the rest, and we're heading to game 2.
Yeah, something I want to play.
I think everyone on their A game, especially me, trying to minimize any harm to let, I think, Al and Mike and Matt really shine through. Obviously Blake, but I don't glaze him. But all of the other team members as well are incredibly strong and really have their own individual moments to shine, and are all they're all great shot callers and helping me and telling me what to do. This team wouldn't be the same if not each single person. You know, no person can go missing.
Just not overthinking it. In season 5, we 100% overthunk it. In season 8, I think even though like Meta Busters were so good, I think like we overcooked in a lot of times. And then like season 9 just kept it simple. As long as we just keep it simple, it's going to be fine. Just don't overthink it too much.
A lot of teamwork. I think I'm relying a lot on my team to kind of carry me. You know, I have Blake, who's got great drafting, Matt, who's just phenomenal on support, Alana, who's just smurfing out of their mind this season, Alex, who's always playing great and is super underrated. So I think a lot of it comes down to my team and how well we play together.
We kind of showed it in the last series against QC, but I think with all the comms, keeping track of Drakkar and where he's moving, and then definitely jungle tracking is a big one, because if we know where Drakkar is going to go, we can kind of usually figure that Rat's not too far behind. So I think it's usually just keeping a pretty close tabs on jungle tracking, because if we know where Drakkar is and Rat's there, we can usually gauge and determine whether or not it's a favorable position for us, if we should just give it, or, you know, we can expend a couple more resources and fight it out.
And not spoil my strategy. I don't know. Not taking Anivia into Akali.
Well, pick band started while we were watching that video. So far, nothing different from the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to need to see Smolder banned here. I believe side select has stayed the same. I do need to refresh my assets, although roster tool was not updated despite my kind requests to the teams to make sure that happened. So you are going to need to give me a bit to get this all set up.
It's gonna be a ban for both captains of both teams after that. So we'll that'll start. They can't play in season 11, is what I hear.
I wish I could
Mordekaiser ban. I thought you ran the thing. You can do whatever you want. Mordekaiser, a ban coming through. Kiana again for the side of Nutbusters, who are on the red side still. We see Kindred being the ban instead of a Smolder and instead of a Yasuo, and Nico banned yet again. So
yeah, they're just slamming this shit, guys. It's Smolder. We're picking it again. I mean, maybe they're just gonna run Rat jungle again. Yasuo's available. Maybe they think that either Drakkar or Rat could play the Smolder mid. I mean, I think all those things could be true. I think it's a really tough pick for NYNB to deal with. And if they haven't expanded Alana's champion pool past Aurora and Malzahar, I don't really know what you do into it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we just see the Malzahar come through. I think she's played that very cleanly. I think it's also, I don't want to say an easy champion or anything like that, right? Because that's not true. I don't think there's any champion in this game that's mash your face against your keyboard and you win, except for maybe Yi. But I mean, I was able to cast the game with Brewer where her Malzahar was on another level and got an MVP vote out of it and all that good stuff. So I wonder if we see something like that on 3, or maybe they go for a double ban against that if you're QC and they haven't picked yet. But in the meantime, it's Aurora and Yanara picked. So New York Nutbusters currently are saying it was our execution, not our strategy. And so looking to maybe run it back here with those first 2 picks.
Yeah, this is the same
Maokai,
draft,
again,
guys.
same thing.
Like
We're
the
just gonna play the
orders,
same game.
The order's
You
a little
are not
different.
dreaming.
I mean, maybe Ziggs doesn't come through. Maybe we see something else. I don't think QC needs to change anything. I think their draft was good. I think it makes it so hard because NYNB needs to force something at some point in the game, and QC's been playing in a way that where NYNB forces, it does not go well for them. And I feel like Rift suffered the same fate in the losers finals. Now we're seeing a Sylas come through, which is fucking crazy. This could be jungle. The Yasuo's being picked away. Is this for Blake top? Is this like troll?
Support Yasuo?
I don't even know what's happening here. Are they just hovering it? They're going to ban it? Did I get the sides wrong? Okay, it's just going to be Rel bot. I assume the Yasuo's
maybe.
This is just like a troll hover. Like it has to be. Very funny. You can tell NYB is still in good spirits, but honestly, I want to talk about what we just heard from them in the video because they were talking about teamwork and staying calm, and they're just sticking with what works for this team. They're not really innovating in draft. They're kind of sticking with it, and if PB's right about that being the recipe to win finals, as someone who's been in 3 finals, like he should know what works. That's his call. Just sticking with something that works, not getting too crazy. Should work. The problem is QC had one plan and they've stuck to it and it still looked good. The Sylas kind of blind is cooking a little bit, but I don't think it's necessarily dangerous. The other thing I want to highlight in that video is Alana saying that they need to minimize their own personal losses. And I honestly think they did a really good job of that game. They died like 1 time solo in lane, and the farm deficit, while it looked pretty bad at that point where you called out Drakkar for having 135 CS most in the game, Alana actually had more than anybody else on QC besides Drakkar. So I think that they did a good job. Just some of the plays went a little south, and QC was able to find really good Maokai ultimates, which I honestly think was the driving force of their comp. The Kindred changes the game up a little bit, and you have to play around it differently. And now I believe you're probably going to have Drakkar jungle on the Sylas for a comfort pick. But I don't know. I wonder how much that's going to change the game. But this flex potential between Chow and Paul M on the Maokai, I think is really the thorn in NYNB's side. And if they lose to it again, it's going to be really tough. But now they're locking in Graves. We're getting exciting. I think this Graves pick got buffed recently, and it could be stronger than the Wukong. It's less all-reliant.
Yeah, add some magic resist to the dash, right? So it's just a bit of a buff there, and Graves kind of desperately needed that, as we kind of know. I think that the thing you've got to hang your hat on is exactly what you were just talking about, Dean. I mean, the Nutbusters did not make mistakes. We can go back and VOD review and find some things that they should have done, find some things that they could have done, do this or that. They did not make any outright mistakes, I don't think. None that I can remember, right? Like there isn't a thing you can point to that says, oh, because they blank, it lost them the game. I think that maybe they were out-rotated. Maybe they played a little bit. Maybe QC was able to capitalize on things that didn't work, but there wasn't a glaring moment that was a mistake made by the Nutbusters. And so I think you can kind of hang your hat on that, say, let's play our game again. Usually you see the losing team change up everything that they're doing. They're happy to run it back with their first couple picks. An Alawi hover?
Okay, this is some deep tech. If you have been watching NYNB just this series, you know not of the Rel, you know not of the Alawi. If you have seen any other season, this Rel has been perma-banned against PB for so long. being on his team, it was always we don't really need to slam this in regular season games. It's not a big deal. We'll save it for finals. This is the time that he is bringing it out in finals. It might have happened a couple other times. Honestly, my memory's not that good. Usually it doesn't end up happening because it ends up getting permanent finals anyway. But this is finals PB Rel, and this is finals Blake Alawi. Alawi is such a disgusting champion, and Blake does such a good job on it. This is going to be a legendary game. I think if NYNB goes down with this team comp, it's going to be so hard for them to recover mentally because this is core comfort for them. Everyone is on champions that they're so comfortable on. I mean, the exception of maybe the Graves in the jungle, but QC, on the other hand, doing a really good job. They realized that they can pick the Smolder again and flex it ADC, which is the prio that they had at the beginning of the season. They've gone back to their basics as well. We saw Rat have a huge performance on Orianna in the All-Star game, and he's back on that champion. And now Chow back on the Maokai, his most played this season, I believe. And Paul M, while not on the Taric, his most comfortable, we are getting to see him back on the Braum. And with that, I think we should cut to Paul's interview that Brewer was able to provide us, unless you have anything you want to add real quick.
Just Rat's Orianna is petrifying. There's a lot to be excited about. I'm still new to the server, and I know about all those hot points you're mentioning on the Nutbusters. Orianna's scary for Rat. I'm just nervous. I'm excited, but I think my PTSD is kicking in. But I do want to see what Paul was saying in their interview.
Hey everybody, Brewer here again with another fun interview, this time with Paul from Qualmless Chillers. Paul, how you doing?
I am awesome today.
Perfect. Paul, I'm going to hit you with
Ready
10
for this?
I'm gonna hit you with 10 fun questions. Let's get right into it. What's your favorite ADC support champion combo to play?
Ooh, okay, that is a trick question. My favorite is Taric and Kindred, but we're not playing that.
Okay. What's the champion you think you always look good on?
Oh, Taric for sure. It's the only support I can actually play decently. My old one trick.
If you could delete one champ from the game, what would it be?
Oh, Yuumi.
Valid
Easy.
answer.
That's an easy question.
Okay. This one's about your teammates. If you had a friend that you were introducing to League for the first time, which teammate would you be least likely to ask to teach them?
Ooh. Probably Max. Ricard.
Okay.
He's really good, but sometimes the patient is just not there.
But you gotta have patience when they're starting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who stays the most positive in comms during a tough game?
Oh, that's probably me.
Okay.
I'm the guy that's still smiling even when I went 0-9-1.
Okay.
I was still having fun.
All right. If you had to pick a walkout theme song for QC, what would it be?
Ooh. Probably Animals.
Okay. Who's the toughest support? That's a great song. Who's the toughest support you've played against this season?
Ooh, how's he called? Not the one I'm playing, the New York Dotbuster one.
PB.
Yeah, PB. Yeah,
Okay,
that guy.
okay.
Yeah, that guy's the goat.
What's the off-meta support pick that you know you could make work if your team would just let you play it?
Ooh. My famous Poke Mage Olaf support.
Ooh, okay. What's been your favorite moment during the season to this point?
Everything's been fun. Just working as a team. I've been playing with those guys for a while. I played in tournaments with Rat for, a year and a half now. And, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's the friends we make along the way,
Definitely. Okay, final question for you. What's the final score at the end of the series?
Oh, 3-0. Easy.
3-0, okay.
Season 5 was definitely playing as 5 with everybody. I think that was always fun, and getting introduced to so many cool people here.
I obviously loved all seasons of Andromeda. I had so much fun on every team with everyone. It was great.
Season 6 was definitely fun in terms of playing with a bunch of people, new people, because I think that was the Andromeda team. So it was me, PB, and then Stanley, Alana, and Jonah, if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely getting to meet everyone, because I feel like every single person I played with along the way mattered in like a big way. Like the season 6 Andro roster, I loved, even though we stunk.
I did enjoy playing, I think it was 7 MVP and just going in there doing random bullshit with Mike, like the Senna Karthus game. You remember that, obviously.
The season 7 was crazy. That team was a movie.
Definitely going on my little training arc and trying to play catch up with everyone. I spent a lot of time on like an off account grinding. I didn't get that high in rank, but I think it definitely helped me level up my gameplay.
And then obviously our team was spectacular and awesome to play too. I mean, I went over a lot when we won season 9. Like I had to make sure to thank everyone that I played with.
Between that, I did like playing on Big Winners. That was fun. Founding the team and getting, friends back in there. That was certainly fun. But I have been waiting for this moment a little bit.
And Nutbusters is also really a similar experience. Both are very welcoming environments with really lovely people.
I can't pinpoint which roster was the best because I loved all of them so much, all for different reasons.
Yeah, and actually perfect timing there as we are loading into game. And 2 things stick out to me from watching those interviews. The first one is Paul M saying that PB is the GOAT of support and that it's the hardest opponent that he's faced. And especially now that we see PB's Rel coming out, I think that is going to be the tale of this game if PB's Rel is going to be enough to make the difference here. And on the other side, I think what was really sticking out to me is PB and all these other players reminiscing about all the different rosters they've been on. All these players have been through like so many unique experiences to themselves in Scrim Zone. And I think that kind of clutch factor that they've gained from those games and just the experience on all these different things is going to be like pivotal in this game. However, we also heard Rat talking about how they were in the other server kind of across those seasons and getting that experience in. So both of these teams coming in with a lot of history. But what I did find interesting is that Paul M said that that team went all the way back and said a year and a half. And when we think about how long NYNB's been together, it's been closer to 3 years. So maybe that friendship buff is going to help NYNB, but we hopped into a pause. So I'm actually going to kick it back and we can talk about some of the champ highlights here. Spiral, if you can stop streaming, I think our things will go back to normal.
Yep, let me turn that off and get things going. So push our buttons. We've got a lot prepared. We bit off as much as we could chew, so we appreciate your patience in making some of these things work. By the way, Paul, big Olaf support believer. Used to run Annie Olaf bottom with a friend of mine back in like season 2 of League existing, and it worked better than you'd think. I would not recommend trying it though, because it's probably terrible now. So
yeah, looking at these champion matchups, it looks like Braum has actually been favored into Rel. I wonder if that's because it is Rel favored and people have been just picking Rel when they're not as experienced on her. PB, I don't have that concern, but both these champions are so comfortable for their respective players. Aurora actually 1-0 into Orianna with a 16 KDA is absolutely ludicrous. That is not what I would have expected. Graves Silas, I think this matchup's completely changed after Graves now gets MR on his dash, but Alawi 3-0 against Maokai. I would bet that most of those wins, if not all of them, are Blake. So that is going to be pivotal. But after I've said all this, we are now back into game. So we'll take a look there.
yeah, we'll see how it ends up going as both these teams get back into it. Wouldn't be surprised if we kind of see a similar start to the way that we did in the first one, where not a whole bunch going on, people just stack it up in their place, all that good stuff.
Pause bug.
Yep.
So I'm just going to get back to live. Oh, Jesus.
I'm still stuck at the pause bug. There we go. Moving a bit again.
Whew.
So, insert small indie company joke here, right? I think this is the point that we start to make those jokes. But both teams stacking up. A bit more of a spread this time from Qualmless Chillers, but They do see Alawi kind of standing here and guarding the entrance to the jungle. I don't think anyone's going to go ahead and challenge Blake. If they don't see Plain Bagel behind, Plain Bagel kind of notorious for that ward there at the bottom lane. Not there, not showing, but starting to head back that direction. So nothing crazy at the start of this one either. And I don't think you want to do anything crazy, right? You're in the finals. You're confident in your team. You're confident in your abilities. You don't want to do anything at level 1 to kind of mess that up. But we do see Alana going for a bit of a poke here in the mid lane. Nothing too crazy for them just yet. Rat trading back as well. But a pretty standard start here to this one. Junglers opposite sides of the map this time. So we do see Graves for the Nutbusters is going to be pathing towards bottom side, whereas Drakkar on Sylas now in the jungle pathing towards the top side. And we'll see what impact they can make in this one.
Yeah, and you talking about the small indie company jokes, I was getting flashbacks to Season 7 where we had the big spectator bug, like the spectator bug, where it would just completely kill games. So every time the game gets hung up, I think we're going to have to deal with that. When I was going back to create the NYNB highlight, one of the best highlights was actually completely cut from the VOD because that game just didn't get caught. Spectator bug had just completely deleted it from the game. So anyway, Riot has definitely fixed Spectate a little bit. Blake trading very heavily down onto Chow.
Yeah, very much so. Chow already at a disadvantage again. Saw that in the first game as well, where we saw that they were top lane was in favor of the Nutbusters, and it looks like it's going to be pathing the same way in this one. Blake does get, or not Blake, Bagel does get stunned here, but is level 2 in comparison to the level 1 bottom lane for the side of Qualmless Chiller, so not able to make too much of an impact there. Chow levels up right on time to get to 2, and it is just a shoved in lane. The good news for Chow is that we do know Drakkar is pathing in that direction, so the problem is it's into an Alawi, right? Alawi kind of not necessarily welcomes the ganks, but isn't too bad when they happen at the exact same time if they can position correctly and push the buttons the right way. Alawi is just notorious for, I'm here to gank, and all of a sudden we're both dead. Hard for the Maokai to farm in this lane as well, unfortunately. We actually see a skip of the blue buff and the Gromp. So Drakkar is already heading towards the top lane to see if we can make some pressure happen. The ping comes in. Chow is going to go ahead and Twisted Advance into Blake, push them back a little bit. Drakkar still trying to follow this one up. Hasn't used the stun just yet, trying to make sure they get the vision. Damage has come through, and Drakkar's going to take a lot of damage on a Blake who's not fallen yet. It's going to be really close, though. Chow's, oh my goodness! The kill on Drakkar, and now Chow forced to run away back to lane, or back to tower if they can. Chow's actually going to continue to pressure this one for some reason, and Blake actually just has to recognize that they have the kill potential here, and so Chow just backs up completely. Still has flash, so could have escaped. But man, like I said, the turnaround can happen so quickly, and Drakkar falls right away. And now, what can you do with that? It's already a scary lane to begin with, and you're up 15 CS, a kill at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And not only that, but now Mike kind of has free reign of the jungle and the tempo. I think Drakkar's just going to come back up here again.
Yeah, and with Blake's base canceled, it could be really bad for him. He's going to see him right now, but he has no flash. I think he's just going to have to accept the death.
Yeah, the ward does come through, a bit of a greedy recall after it gets canceled, but you don't expect that kind of pathing, and that's what makes a jungler like Drakkar so frustrating maybe to deal with, is the unpredictability factor coming in there. Mike taking good advantage of this, though, and is going to go ahead and look to do some counter jungling here. And Blake's not really going to lose a whole bunch with the teleport going back up to the top lane here.
Yeah, that counter kill kind of brought me back down to earth a little bit. You were talking about how Alawi's really good at turning ganks, but usually that's not true until 6. So the fact that Blake was able to outplay that 1v2 really shows his strength on the champion and just his overall skill as a player. But again, we're not pros. We overstay a little bit. We end up dying. And now Mike is getting caught out on his invade. PB and Alex are now rotating to help him out here.
Flashes. Oh, man. The entire team's here. PB's here to help. Drakkar's taking the damage, initially the brunt of it. He is very low, but hasn't fallen just yet. He will in the end here, and it's going to be a kill going over to Mike yet again, as he gets an early advantage here in the jungle, pushing the lead against Drakkar right now, who's 1-2.
Yeah, no one would have expected that. You ask people what's going to happen in this game. You see Drakkar on the Sylas, a pick he's been so good on this season, and you go, he's going to be the first 2 deaths of the game for QC. Not a soul is going to believe you, but that's what's happening right here in front of us.
Yeah, what's the over-under on that bet? You know what I mean? Like, that's insane. But maybe an advantage, right? Look, I don't want to say Drakkar doesn't know how to play this game, and the guy's incredible and, you know, was in the All-Star game for a reason, but how many times has he been down like this in the series? Is this something that he can easily recover from? Does he know how to recover from it? Paul said he's angry. He's an angry jungler. I feel like angry junglers are kind of normal, right?
He said impatient.
Impatient. Okay, maybe I'm projecting a little bit here as an angry jungler myself, but yeah, I mean, early tempo out of this game from both these teams, and we now see Jakar going to take the top side pretty much for the first time this game. The blue buff still has not been taken for Jakar, so in that area to try to make something happen. Dragon is up and available, been so for about a minute and a half now almost, and we do see the supports kind of in that area looking for vision. Twisted advance for Chow onto the Alawi, but Blake able to just kind of tank some of that, walk away a bit, and the item advantage right now is pretty significant. A pickaxe versus a tier and a ruby crystal. So
yeah, in terms of spent gold, it's actually not that big. It's just tier's more of a scaling item. The reverse kill that they got onto Alawi and just the desync of the back timers, I think, were able to even out the lane a lot in terms of itemization. But Alawi 6 is going to be way more powerful than Maokai 6 in the 1v1. And we actually do see some counter jungling coming out from Jakar, able to take this red buff away.
Yeah, good aggression, right, from Jakar. You know, a lot of people, you're down at this point. It's I'm going to AFK, sit in my jungle, and just farm. But Jakar, on that buff, should be able to sneak it away. The question, though, becomes, will the Nutbusters just go for a dragon when Jakar isn't even in the area to help? Don't think that's the call, but the fight in bottom lane might be the call. Blake also looking for some aggression in the top lane, but Mike just forced to back away on the Graves. Will he just start up a dragon and go to it? He's in the pit. And so Dragon will be started here for the side of the Nutbusters. Drakar is going to be forced to run from the well. He's going to be spotted out by Rat, and I think that the Nutbusters don't want to take this fight. They want to back away a little bit here. Just going to be that dragon dance we all know and love in the early game. We do see Mike is now 6, so comes back here for this. Teleport advantage does not exist. Neither top laner has teleport advantage, so it's going to be a 3v3 or 1v1 or 4v4 depending on which lanes rotate and when.
I think no ult from Jakar means they're just going to give it. It looks like it's just solidly going over to Mike and PB here. Ori Ball was thrown earlier, saw that they were at least dealing with it, but they don't seem to care. Maybe there's going to be a play for Grubs with Silas when he hits 6, but no cooldowns are really burned away from NYNB here, so I think maybe they can just contest Grubs.
Yeah, Jakar not being level 6 for that fight is the main thing there, I think, right? You can't walk in there when you're level 5, especially not on Silas when your whole shtick on Silas is I'm going to take your ultimate, and so the fact you don't really even have the ability to do that, pretty frustrating. Plain Bagel able to recall. Looked like almost through the smolder damage, but Mike now onto Rat here. Alana backing them up, and the flash forward for Rat puts a lot of damage down on the Mike. They turn that back around, and Jakar's going to continue to follow this one. Has Aurora's ultimate, but can't find much more. So a wonderful counter gang from Jakar, and looking to counter a bit more. I think you've got to fear the Alawi. I don't think that you can kind of do Void Grubs unless maybe you sent, you know, we send the Braum up here as well or something like that. But now Jakar can be caught out, but able to use the Aurora ultimate to try to get away, make some moves. But Alana, they're able to escape over the wall with Plain Bagel being here to help support. Good flash from them to get away, but that might be the freedom that they need to go ahead and get after the Void Grubs here with that skirmish. But PB is up here. We do see finally Referendum on the way up there as well. So we've got both supports on the top side, and Blake going to put some damage down onto Chow using the Ghost here. And we might see the play just
the sombrero from Rat in that play was huge. You always see really good shockwaves with the ball away from Orianna. She flashed with the ball on herself to hit both of them. That was insane. I could not let us not talk about that more. That was ridiculous. But now the fight on the Grubs is going to break out here. Jakar with the first engage.
He might be a little bit too far ahead, though. Good dash forward, and they're actually going to get caught in the Maokai here. We don't see 6 yet for Braum, so he's not able to go ahead and drop his ultimate down, but Plain Bagel's going to continue to flash it forward. Jakar trying to kite it back a bit if he can, but with no Glacial Fissure, you wonder how much the fight's going to stall. The Shockwave's still not here for Rat. He's got it back in a couple seconds here, and I think that maybe the timer is in the head of the Nutbusters as they start to walk away. Grubs, all three, still alive, though, and we do see Blake trying to come around the backside, look for a flank. First Grub goes down. Plain Bagel's here in the fight. He's on all of them, and the tentacles are slapping onto everybody. The ultimate comes out from Orianna as well with the Shockwave. Plain Bagel and Blake able to cut it back, and they take up one kill, and they're trying to run away as Jakar is down, and Plain Bagel survives, and it feels like Plain Bagel just can't go down, jumping into every single fight there, it felt like, and being the leader for those fights, but not able to fall. And so it's just a pick-up fight win, and the Grubs coming down for the side of the Nutbusters. And we do have that replay for you, too, where we can go ahead and take a peek at what happened here. But it looks like the Nutbusters start to walk away at first before they try to come back in. And it's a great flank here from Blake. Look at them just come around the backside here and just collapse into everybody. Plain Bagel diving right in. They try to turn it around with the shockwave, but it's not enough to really do so much. And Jakar goes back in on their own before the rest of the team decides to leave with the Grubs going, the rest of them, the two that are remaining, going back over to the Nutbusters. Or, yeah, to the Nutbusters, excuse me. Well, it's been an exciting start to this one, that's for sure. Nutbusters really not losing any tempo in this game coming off that first one and picking up those Grubs. They're saying, we're here to fight, we're here to make it happen. And, you know, works out nicely. Chow looking for some poke down onto Blake yet again, but Blake just able to take this and kind of slap with the tentacles. Just allow, he's so frustrating of a champion to deal with. And Chow might even just die under the tower here, able to escape a bit. Now we might see some action in the bottom lane. Pings are coming out though, so they do know that Plain Bagel is here in the bottom lane bush. And Mike is counter jungling again. Pings down that he's going to come that way. He will be spotted out from a ward though, more than likely. But will the engage happen fast enough? Kage just running away, and they are able to escape even with the pressure from Mike. And they clear the vision at the exact same time.
Yeah, the game is now slowed down a little bit. The feats of warfare claimed by NYNB is definitely different from last game. They were able to even the kills out after that, but the early kills going over to them is huge, and the gold going on to Mike and Blake, I feel like these are the two players that have been together the most out of this roster, and them having that top jungle synergy is going to be very impactful this game. Jakar looking to deny this camp away though, and Mike catches wind of it and just goes up to the Krugs.
Yeah, Jakar had that on that timer ready to go over there and go ahead and take it right away. And so we'll have to see if there's a reaction now that they kind of know when that timer comes back up for the next time red buff's up. But we would not be surprised to see a bit of a dragon skirmish here. Dragon spawning at about 9 seconds here, but Alana just forced under their tower. It just in a challenging spot in this game. I feel like the top and mid for both these teams can be, you know, alternated in terms of what they're dealing with. Chow and Alana just not having a fun time, but not dying, not feeding, just holding on for dear life, knowing that they'll be able to provide some great purpose for their teams and later on in the game. And it's just a matter of how can Blake push the advantage on Alawi, how can Matt push the advantage on Oriana. And Chow picks up a lot of that CS under the tower there, so pretty good job. But dragon fight possibly starting here. No teleport for Alawi, but Chow also has a teleport, just uses the ult there in the top lane, and to not much avail as nothing really happens there other than maybe just exciting. Nature's Grasp kind of going down there for not much value, but just trying to hold on as long as they can. Chow playing the good old-fashioned early season top lane of I'm just going to hold on as long as I can and let my team win around the map. But Alawi's just so threatening of a champion, and in the hands of someone like Blake, on a dime can just turn around and take your tank down with nobody to stop. And with everybody down here on the dragon, it could just be a mess if this turns into a fight down here. Blake trying to just slam this down to get the first tower. This way they can go ahead and pick up some feats for their team. And it will fall here. So they do secure first tower. Dragon being taken, though, at the exact same time for Qualmless Chillers. Jakar trying to dive into Mike here a bit, but he's left with 3. The follow-up does come in, though, from Referendum as he's here trying to tighten up the backline. But they're just running through the Braum onto the downward. The dragon goes down. It is picked up, but so does Jakar after he gets the dragon. Rat trying to run away for his life, and Aurora, they're trying to pick up some revenge for what's going on in the mid lane, but Chow is here. The teleport did exist, and even without the ultimate, still finding themselves useful, and Kage picks up that kill too. So Kage now smolder yet again, 2-0, doing well and work for the Qualmless Chillers, even on a different player, and Chow just heading back towards the top lane now.
Yeah, that was a 2-for-1 for QC, and they were able to pick up the dragon. Definitely the fight that they wanted to kind of get back into this game. Objective feats don't matter this game, but if they did, NYNB would have to take the Rift Herald here to claim them. 2-1 in favor of them this game, and I think that's kind of representative of how the game's gone so far. It is NYNB favored, but it's closer than you'd think, just saying that. The gold leads down to just 600. And I think we could see a fight break out on the Rift Herald. Blake does have his ultimate available now. Jakar dashing in and out, but does not get caught.
Well, the problem, though, we see is Kage's still all the way in the bottom lane. We've shot the mid laner down there, so Aurora is down there. Teleport does exist for Alana, but if you leave that, then we saw the Smolder in the first game just getting all this free farm, even though it's in the hands of different champions. Same MO right now for Kage and the Qualmless Chillers. It has been started here, the Rift Herald, and it looks like maybe Jakar just backing away with the rest of the Qualmless Chillers. Not really focused on taking it so far, and it will go down. The question is, who do they give it to? It would be absolutely decimating to see this go into Alawi and find that Alawi still low kill somewhere and just ride that thing into oblivion. But it looks like Mike is going to take it on the Graves, since he will be obviously rotating around the map a bit more. But the gold lead has stayed pretty still, just a couple hundred gold above, so really even. And Kage might even that up here with this bottom tower here in a second or two. 2 Void Grubs, so a little bit of help. Not enough, not for the 3. But we do see a roam here. It's Paul and Drakkar down in the bottom side jungle. It is going to be spotted out by PB. Mike rotating that way as well. But Rat's here too. PB could be pinched, is forced to run. Is running to the comfort of his AD carry, Alex. And Mike in this area as well. Smite is available for Graves on Mike. Mike on Graves, but just backs away. And Qualmless Chillers say, you know what? We're not going to play this one. And rotate back away. So a bit of a deep breath here for both teams. And the next objective not up for some time. About another 2.5 minutes until it is. And we've still got Rift Herald to worry about as well in the pocket of the Graves here.
Yeah, you're going to see Alana start farming up to that first item here. You want everyone to have that strong first item spike. Redemption is available for PB. We've seen this item be so dominant this season. Just so much value for basically any support champion that can pick it up. I don't believe that Paul's building towards it. The locket looks like it's going to be the pick instead. The shielding can be a little more helpful than the healing, just with initial burst coming through. But if the Zonias gets completed by Silas before this next fight, that is going to be game-breaking, I think. Graves also building towards the second item, which could be a big spike. The Unara Runons also in the potential items that could be bought here. But Alana looking to be in trouble here, having to run away as Kage gets that first tower, and that's also going to open up the map a lot for this dragon contest.
Yeah, you wonder if Paul was looking for something there with that tower only having 20-something health left, but, you know, just able to back away. Was Alana. We'll go for a reset here, and it's just the concern that you've got to have is Smolder's just continuing to free farm while they've got the time. But I think our next fight's going to happen here in about a minute with this dragon spawning. Again, Rift Herald still in the pocket of Graves. It's just, if I feel like we need to see something happening here. Can we get an exploit of that, or will they use that kind of in combination with the dragon spawning? Because if you use it that way, then maybe they've got to answer the Rift Herald and we get the dragon for free. But we'll find out here together in less than 60 seconds.
It
Drakkar
almost
and
looks like
Matt
PB
both
had
here
an
to
angle
count.
onto Rat there, but does have to back away. Drakkar kind of hanging around in the shadows here. There's 3 people kind of accessible towards mid lane, but Blake just slamming the TP down 40 seconds before the dragon. He's looking to get set up as he teleports into 3 members of QC.
Yeah, really just looking for something, right? Alana's clearing some vision on their way as well, but the entire team is here for the Nutbuster, so they're committed to this dragon. Chow on Maokai in the top lane does have teleport. Not really a good split pushing threat, but able to maybe add some pressure if they can delay this dragon as long as they possibly can. But the rest of the chillers are here other than him. Looks like maybe the mid lane push is the idea. Again, Rift Herald. I know I keep bringing it up, but it's going to expire soon. Still in the pocket of Mike, but maybe they just go towards the dragon. They see Maokai powering down on that top lane tower, but maybe they're going to push it mid. Plain Bagel looking for the engage again. Blake is too, but Blake's down about half health now from all the poke that they've just been taking. And so now the pings are on to Dragon. Drakkar is here on the flank. Could find an engage, maybe with a Rel ultimate or something along those lines. But we're also looking for the shockwave onto Rat. Not there yet. Hasn't connected just yet. Meanwhile, this entire time, Chow's still pushing on the Maokai. Pings are onto the Dragon. The Nutbusters know they need to figure something out now or figure it out very, very soon. I don't see a really good ward for the teleport to come in either. If it does come in, Drakkar does steal Rel's ultimate. The ultimate comes through and does a little bit of damage, and it's a flash forward for Drakkar, and then Orianna ball onto it as well, and the damage is going to come through. Magical still alive though, because they're all running into the Alawi, and Drakkar will fall right after that, right after Paul, and they're going to chase this one out. Aurora flashes forward, is going to back away, but get twisted advance on her, and she'll fall down. They'll fall down, excuse me, and Chow will have to run, but I think they're going to fall too, and the Nutbusters pick this one up. It's a 3-for-1.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough for them to move to Otacon, though, as Orianna and Smolder are both still alive, and Drakkar's respawn timer is fairly short. but I think they're at least going to be able to secure the mid lane tower here, and they were able to get the second dragon. I think soul stacking is not as important this game with Chemtech Soul, but Alawi is one of the biggest benefactors of the potential Chemtech Soul. Unfortunately, a little bit of a traffic mishap there with the Rift Herald. I don't think it's going to get another charge off. But Blake should be able to
pick up this tower. We got the replay here for you as well to take a look at, but we see the ultimate coming through. Drakar just being able to get the Rel ultimate, goes right in the middle. The shockwave comes through as well, but it doesn't really matter because Alawi is just able to go ahead and say thank you, no thank you, and just pish all the tentacles out, do all the damage. Aurora, they flash forward and it gets a little bit scary, but it does pick up a kill on a Chow in the end for that as well. So it's a bit of an even trade there, but what a great fight. And I just, now every single fight from here on out, if you're the Qualmless Chillers, you've got to be scared about like running into the Nutbusters, because it didn't go all that time as we see the fight and the focus here moving up
Blake
to Otacon.
Is way too far out here. He's not going to get there in time. They need to stall out with some other ultimates. Otherwise, this is just going to go down. Yeah. And the flash coming over the wall, Hex Flash channeled by PB, looking to go in.
They're running away, but the Otacon still is at half health. Smolder ultimate hits absolutely nothing except for maybe Otacon. But now it's down to 4,000 health. It's going to come down to a 50-50 smite fight. Redemption being used as well. The advance comes in from Maokai. Drakar's caught out a little bit. That's a lot of damage, but Otacon is stolen by Drakar, who can't get away. He tried to dash under the Alawi, but it didn't matter because he missed it, and he falls. Blake picks up another one. Blake looking for more. Won't be able to find it, though, but Inara will. Alex picks up one. Rat now forced to run away, and it's going to be another kill for Blake, and that's an ace coming in for the Nutbusters. What a way to respond after a first game loss.
We did the Otacon throw. We've done it. We're just like the pros, everybody. We can start the Otacon. Drakar goes in, is able to hit the insane snipe on the smite, and it's going to secure them the Otacon, which is going to give value if they're able to kill people, but that's the problem. They have to kill people to get value from this. You get a little bit of the damage from the flowers, you get a little bit of XP, but that big effect of the on kill just does not happen as Blake continues to live on like 200.
Well, we can take a look at that smite again if you want. Let's see how it goes. It is awfully close. We're going to slow it down nice and slow for you too. But it just gets so low. And Drakar just dashes and gets the smite to go ahead and keep his team in this one. But then it turns from there, misses it. And just all the tentacles, just all of them, right in the center there with the Aurora ult, just doing all the damage. And Qualmless Chillers, happy they get the objective, but forced to run away and escape with none of their lives at the same time. But they do get the Otacon, so there's something to hang your hat on. But man, it is not fun, and it just seems like every single fight so far, the Leap of Faith, the Alawi ultimate, has just been doing absolute work. And now the Qualmless Chillers have to figure out how they're going to react to this, because 2 fights in a row within minutes of each other, really within seconds of each other, it's an absolute disaster when they try to fight in.
Yeah, and while the focus it has been on Blake coming from our mouths, PB has also had 11 kill participation, and neither of the bot laners for NYNB have died at all this game. I think this Rel pick might be getting some value, and you see Drakar stealing the Rel ultimate, trying to do his best Rel cosplay, but he's ended up 2-6-2 this game. A lot of times we've been talking about on the podcast, on other people casting, how this Sylas pick is not really blindable, and I think this is the first time we've really seen it punished for Drakar. And I don't know. It's looking pretty good for NYNB. They're going to have to close this one out, though. The scaling from Smolder is still going to be there no matter what. And Alawi is going to lose some value if they can get enough damage to burst her down. And the execute from Smolder is going to be helpful at doing that.
Yeah, it's just been a masterclass, right? Blake is saying, okay, if you come into us, I'm going to do our thing. And then Plain Bagel's just saying, if you're going to let us come to you, I'm going to do my thing. And then Alex and Mike and Alana are just able to kind of react however they need to in order to make it happen. Like there's 2 different types of fights that they can pull off, and both of them are working incredibly effectively for the Nutbusters. And Dragon coming up here in just a moment or two, I don't know if you can run into this.
Yeah,
and you don't have a really good
exact
push
same
ready.
way they did last time, TPing 40 seconds before the fight, making sure they're in position. Basically an identical play, although not TPing on the heads of people anymore, but that's only because QC's been even more boxed out than they were the first time. This is really good setup from NYNB. The problem is if Mike can keep out smiting, which we've seen is a little hard, and Drakar has like 2,500 health. He's not easy to burst.
Right. Well, both teams are here completely. No teleports or anything fancy, but the Dragon's just going to get started right away. But if you're QC, you've got to find the perfect engage. And even if you do, will it matter? Shockwave comes through, but Alawi's just going to flash forward. And so is PB. They're both in there, and Paul's going to go down first, and that's your front line. The second person goes down. It's Kage who's gone, and they're trying to just hold on. Now Drakar trying to stay in the back here. Does have Aurora's ultimate, is going to use it, able to put some damage down, but trying to run away through the side here to teleport back. But if he does, he's running to the rest of the team. Alex is trying to stay alive, barely does. Rat's able to try to kite that off a bit, but they get the Dragon. They might just run on the Rat here. Mike dashes forward, puts some more damage down. Still alive is Rat. Chow's going to get picked off on the side here, though, more than likely. He has survived a little bit from the passive of the Maokai trying to help. Plain Bagel still chasing onto that, but it's just support. But the rest of the team will be able to follow it up. Rat trying to pick up a kill somewhere here. Mike is so low, but is able to escape there as well. And so Rat gets away with their life, but the rest of the team cannot say the same. And will they get away with their life forever? No, they will not. Alana said, this is the payback for what you did to me in lane. I'll pick up one for myself.
Okay, I don't think we've seen this interview yet, but in one of the ones, Alana said that their hope for finals was that they had a cool play. That was a fucking cool play. Clip that shit. That was awesome. It looked like Rad had waltzed out of that fight scot-free. I was about to say this whole thing about he's only died once. Alana changes that. Really well played there.
Just a good play. Looks like they're backing up a little bit. Kind of does a little bit of a hop, goes invisible. Rat's not sure where they are, and they're on vision the whole time. Rat throws out the damage. Alana flashes forward, picks it up, walks right back out. And that might not be, that's one you clip, that's one you hang on to for forever, especially against a player of Rat's caliber. But you know what else that does? That breaks the morale. That's okay, well, at least Rat got away, and we did some this and this and that, and we're talking about how the fight went, how we can fix it for next time, and this, that, and then Rat dies. And it just hurts the mental.
Yeah, there is love being given out to PB's ward skin here. Now that we're live, I wonder if Paul and PB are rocking the same thing. I will be looking out for that this game, but obviously there's some more important stuff to
a lot more exciting things to talk about.
I do think it's the same between the two. That's
they start the Baron. Chow is bottom lane. Chow does have teleport though, but they recognize they need to kind of start it quickly or do something because there is not a teleport up to match it. Or at least there's nobody that's going that way with a teleport to match it. Alana does have it up, but they are here with the team. Blake looking for some damage and does a lot on a Rat with the Ghost. And Rat down to about a quarter health is forced to run away, and they were looking for the chase. They might just decide to look for the Baron instead. There's some pings that way, some vision that way. They're going to run that way.
Yeah, Rat does have TP, so this isn't a sure thing, but it puts him in a very favorable position. They deal a lot of damage here. Yunar's 3 items, 6-0-6 performance from Alex, but TPs are coming in.
Well, they got the vision of him. Baron is down to about half health now, but can we find the right engage for Chow? The damage goes down onto Jakar, who's now half health. And it feels like if you're going to go, you got to go. But can you even go? As Blake's just looking for Rat again. Can't find the pick there. The Shockwave does connect onto Plain Bagel and to Mike. Not necessarily the target you want. Aurora's going to ult in. But New York Nutbusters are all so low. And Chow's going to flash forward in this one. And so is Referenda. But he didn't have the damage. Your car comes through, though, to pick up 1, pick up 2. And Spectator Bug is killing me right now. I can't see anything. And now Benchiclaw will fall. Maybe slowly, maybe not. As Kage picks another one up. And it's 4 members down for the Nutbusters. Out of nowhere, QC turns it around, and Spectator Bug, thank you for the extra climactic experience. Please don't do it again.
Yeah, that was brutal. The layering of the ults there was insane, though. I believe that was Drakar with the stolen Aurora ult on top of the Maokai ult, on top of the Shockwave and the Smolder ult. Perfectly layered. So much damage coming through there. And we are going to take a look at the replay of that fight.
Yeah, Blake's just looking for the aggression, and just once that Shockwave hits, just everything comes in at once, and they're just so grouped up, and so they're able to take it. And Paul and Chow just say thanks, and Drakar's just so far split from the team trying to get to the back line and make it happen, but they can't. And Blake was there too, but just Smolder's at that point where they can just put out some damage, and it just wasn't enough. And just great layering of the ults, as you mentioned, and it just turned into a bloodbath for New York Nutbusters.
Yeah, I was
still
mistaken.
ahead.
Drakar stole the Graves ult, but was able to hit all 3 of the members who got hit with the Shock Blast by it, which is even better, honestly. A lot of these fights we've seen Kage's ult not get that much value. This one changed that. NYNB actively hitting the objective instead of just being postured around it, I think was the difference this time. It lined them all up, and it was so hard for them to get away, especially with the Maokai ult being used at the same time. However, NYNB still has a lead, and they can just walk towards this dragon. Most of their key cooldowns are available. Flash missing on Alex though, but Alex was able to just survive that fight. So his shutdown was not claimed by QC, and I think if it had been, it would have been a lot worse for NYNB.
Yeah, really good team fight. I mean, it was very much a you set them up, I'll knock them down type thing, and the team play coming through. But keep in mind, the first 3 major team fights like that were not won by QC. They were won by the Nutbusters. And so as we run it back for another big fight here, a potentially game-deciding one around this soul, would go over to the Nutbusters if they can get it. Do they look for a steal? Do they look for a fight? It looks like both teams are posturing for a fight. Most summoner spells are available. And it looks like Nutbusters maybe a little bit timid or a little bit hesitant. They don't have that same that same posturing that they had for that last fight, but they just put a lot of damage down on Jakar. Was able to dash away, fortunately, to kind of avoid a lot of that hitting him. Pushing out through mid lane. The inner towers are all available and all at least half health, and that mid lane inner tower is really low. So you wonder if the minions will take that and kind of create some more pressure of their own. Qualmless Chiller's still just happy to play this one nice and slowly and patiently.
Yeah,
Redemption
Blake
used
actually
as opposed to members.
more than Rat was from that. They're going to be able to heal up, and that plan
just
could
take
actually
this.
be pivotal.
They steal it. Or no, they don't steal it. They get it. Plain Bagel does go down really quickly, though, thereafter. And Aurora, now caught in the middle of the fight here, is able to kind of get back, but right into Paul. Chow's still trying to look for that, but Chow's now too deep, and they can't do much. Blake has survived this whole time, though. The rest of the team is caught up. Can Rat point? Rat lands a shockwave, and the damage comes through from Smolder. That's 1. There's a second one coming, and a third for Smolder. Kage coming in clutch in the end, not leaving his team. Great shockwave from Rat, and great follow-up from the rest of the squad there. And it felt like Blake survived long enough to let his team kind of come up and catch up to him and do some damage, but Rat just turns it around by 1 pushing of a button, and Kage right-clicking thereafter picks up the kills, and they might even go for a Baron here.
Yeah, apologies there. I think our streams got a little desynced when it hung up, so Spiral was predicting the future a little bit in that fight, but huge turnaround from QC. The Soul for Baron trade is decent. I think in terms of gold value, you're expecting the same thing. If QC isn't able to get a lot done with this Nash, I think you're in kind of a dead even spot for NYNB, but what we're seeing is that this Smolder is scaled so hard, it's really hard to outweigh the value that he has in this game.
Yep. Just what a fight from both those teams there, and just maybe staying a little bit too long as we see. Look, so Blake's just able to survive just long enough to say, okay, we're good. I've done my job. I'm out of here. And then look at Rat, boom, and Kage with the immediate follow-up. Jakar even coming back to help support that. And just 1, 2, 3 to clean the fight and turn it the complete opposite way. Great trust and communication from QC to make that happen. Jakar and Kage running away, and Rat said, hold my beer, watch this. And the rest of the team follows without question.
Yeah, and Rat could have used the shockwave so many times earlier in that fight. The fact that he held it until he found literally the perfect moment to use it is so impressive, and it shows the caliber of player that he is. If he had just used it as soon as he could hit someone, worried that he might die, he definitely would not have found the same value that he did.
Just shows you the ability of knowing your champion, right? Level 18 mastery on Oriana. Incredibly skilled. Just looking for the right opportunity at the right moment. And a little bit of overzealousness from the Nutbusters, but keeps the game nice and even. Qualmless Chillers down in kills, now up in gold for the first time in a long time in this game. But at a bit of a stalemate. The burden of proof here is on Qualmless Chillers. They have the Baron, so Nutbuster's going to go ahead and stay a little bit patient here and wait for anything crazy to happen. Baron power play will veer off in a little bit here, but there's still a lot more time. Kage's going to get jumped onto here, though, out of nowhere. What an engage by PB to pick up the kill onto the Smolder, the biggest threat. And they say, screw your Baron play. We're not going to go ahead and make a play of our own on the back of PB to make that happen here. An incredible follow-up from Alex and Mike to make it happen. And now they're just here in the mid lane. The entire side of Qualmless Chillers has reacted to this, though. And so while we have Blake in the top lane and Roar in the bottom lane pushing out these waves, these guys here in the middle might just stay a little bit patient and back away after clearing the wave and just it's like a hockey power play. You're just trying to kill off as much time as you possibly can. Baron buff's almost gone, 75% of the way there before it goes away completely. So we might just see some patience, some wave clearing. Let me take my red, let me get your wolves, let me do this and that. And we might see a reset of a fight here at the Elder Dragon in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think the good thing for QC here, though, is that there's no objectives up. There's not really much that NYNB can get from it. All they're really going to get is control ward value, because even setting up for normal vision around the Elder, you can't do that because the wards are just going to expire. You get a little extra life off of a deep ward, but there's just not much they can do. They were able to even out the gold. Mostly, I think QC still has a bit of an advantage. Smolder being full build, though, while Yunara is only 4 items, I think is going to be a significant factor in this next fight. And Blake hasn't even hit 4 items yet. He's basically on even ground with Chow, and I think that is really going to hurt this team at the Elder fight. But Chem Soul is going to matter. The gold value of that is about 5,000 on top of the extra 3,000 that they have for having more drags. So NYNB is definitely favored in terms of stats, but we'll have to see if that converts to them winning this fight. The scaling power of Orianna and Smolder is absolutely phenomenal, and it is going to be a huge factor coming up.
As simple as an adjustment as this is, we saw that the damage that was coming through from Malawi early on was really good. Like when they were going ahead and getting the Test of Spirit off, that pull, and it just isn't happening anymore. The entire side of QC is able to react as soon as they get their Spirit pulled. They're just leaving the area and coming back in instead of tanking that. And I know that's something so simple. As we see a fight come on to Alana here, Jakar gets the ultimate, is able to hex dash forward, and Alana just too far out. They go down very quickly here as Jakar, Kage, and Rat collapse. Dragon up, Elder in 40 seconds. Alana will be back up very shortly thereafter. And does have the teleport available for them, so they will be able to be here for the fight if it does happen. But that was scary, and a bit of an overextension there from them. The rest of the Nutbusters looking to try to make sure that they control as much vision as possible. They've got a great line of wards here with that Scuttle Crab as well. So they do have some idea what's going on. Drakar still here, still has the Aurora ultimate on the side, looking for a great opportunity to use the Between Worlds, but hasn't found it just yet. But if you have to run into Qualmless Chillers, there's a lot to run into at the Maokai and the Braum. Not sure that that's possible. Dragon is up. Alana up in 4 seconds. They're probably going to teleport right away, picking out different wards that you can go to. I wonder what ward they will go to. Will they do a bit more of a safer teleport or not? It is going to be a safe teleport into the blue buff area. It's more aggressive.
Juicy, though. We could have seen that come through. It is not going to. Blake getting poked out a little bit
I wanted
here.
it to happen. Look on the side. PB still looking for the angle, leading the team in the charge here. And both teams just looking. Aurora on the side, but takes a lot of damage from Rat. That's really scary. If Alana takes another one of those, it's going to be terrible, and they can't back either. Blake just going to run up. They put some damage down onto the Test of Spirit. It does a good amount. Redemption comes through. Does help with Aurora's health situation a bit. Nothing happening in the wave, so no wave has to be worried about just yet other than the loss of Precious CS. Blake again looking for a flank here on the side, not able to find it, spotted out pretty quickly. Both teams continue the dance. The poke is coming back and forth, but the poke battle definitely being won by QC right now. Rat saying up very aggressive. Look how far Rat is up in front of his team, looking for that engage, saying, come get me. Plain Bagel takes the bait. The bait saying, this isn't a bait, saying, I can do it. You can't do that. That's illegal. Silas pushes mid-wave a bit before running back, and both teams continue the dance.
Yeah, Blake's so low, though, and the Redemption not available. PB getting poked out as well. The Orianna just has so much more chip damage. They're playing this composition so well with the Smolder Ori dual damage. And now the
Plain Bagel flashes forward. They get on the Chow. They get on the Paul as well, but the damage is coming through. It's not a Plain Bagel falls first. The rest of the team still here hitting from the back line, but that's going to be a kill for Jakar. Picks up one. Blake is all the way in the back of the fight, trying to get as many people off as they can, but Smolder just picks up the second one, and Mike is going to flash away. He's the only member left alive for his team here, and is forced to run as far as possible. Jakar chasing. Jakar still looking, is able to connect a bit, but he's taking tower damage. Is able to Zanya's here for a bit, so there's a bit of a pause. We'll just get back up. We'll pick up the kill. We'll walk away, question mark. Yes, they will. The inhibitor goes down as well. Do they just push to win here?
We gotta ban Smolder. Like, that's it. I don't know. This is rough for
First
NYNB.
tower
I think
being chunked away.
they
Second
just
one,
they
quickly
played
to follow.
so well in the early game. The Smolder
Nexus.
champion has just completely outscaled them. Rat had 0 kills that game. Smolder was literally the only champion that mattered in a meaningful way in terms of damage output. Very well fought by NYNB, but that is another game going over to QC, and a very tough one. They actually had fewer kills at the end of the game, but it did not matter.
You're going to laugh at me, Dean? I think I broke my headphones screaming in that fight. So I can't hear you. So you keep doing your thing while I try to figure this out because I can't hear anything.
Okay. Sounds good. I will just cut to some videos that we have then. I do have something pulled up that I wanted to watch in case NYNB
So how did
did
me
lose
sucking affect my mental?
Not as scary as I thought.
I hate that finals
What an ending.
so much.
Losing season 5 finals was definitely rough. It definitely wasn't on the way we wanted to, with unforeseen circumstances, i.e. my computer not working, and I had to play season 5 in the back of Matt's house on a laptop setup.
It really did drive like so much, and I really wanted to improve like a whole lot more because I knew there was a whole lot more to learn. After losing that, I really wanted to become really good because that's when I went and hit Masters for the whole season, like right after that.
And also just not being the best in season 5, because that was when I was still relatively new to League. So I think I just wanted to improve, and I think it's definitely shown over the between 5 and 6 and now.
It definitely gave me that hunger to want to win. I think I took the loss pretty hard, so I feel like this is my chance at like a redemption shot to win Scrims Zone and get my first win.
In season 6, we kind of lost everybody, or that Nutbusters kind of broke up. So I think having most of us all back together now and being so close the first time.
Being back with the boys, a lot of drive into us. We definitely want to win purely because we lost before. Everybody really wants to win, so we can all go home and retire and not have to play this game anymore.
Okay, I do think something big that happened here is that side select has changed for the first time this series. Let me verify that the roster tool is fixed. It is not. So give me a second to get this. Maybe I will be firing these captains. I did very specifically ask them to do this for me. But oh well. They have a big series on their hands. They have better things to do.
Excited.
But I think obviously the reason for the side select change is to first pick Smolder, which NYNB is doing here. They deny both the Kindred and the Smolder this way, but I think the issue is that the R5 pick is not coming out for Blake this series, so we'll have to see if he gets enough counterpick there. But now we see Kage's signature Misfortune. It was the champ that we wanted to look out for at the beginning of the series, and we're finally getting to see it. It was in that highlight reel. We saw how much value it had versus Rift Sharks in the losers finals. We'll have to see if it pays the same value in finals. This could be the 3-0 that Paul called for. This could be the sweep that everyone sees. And as I'm talking about Paul, his Taric is locked in. This is huge for this series. It's his most comfortable champion by far. We heard him talking about it. He said it's his only truly comfortable champion. And this is pure comfort for QC bot lane into the Smolder pick. But the Smolder can be for top or bot. We've seen that flex for NYNB. And I think this draft just got very interesting. But the Braum coming out, Paul M's other champion that he's pretty good on as the counter. It is a good pairing with Smolder. We'll have to see who actually gets it.
Halo Monster coming back is the response. So already saying this is a Smolder mid or top, not ADC. I mean, we could see a world where Caitlyn goes mid, but that's just so unlikely in comparison. And a Malphite hovered here as well now for the side of QC. But it is going to be spicy. You kind of mentioned it after the first game, or excuse me, after that last game, where if you lose on the side of the Nutbusters and you lose on comfort, it could be scary.
Right?
But I like,
okay.
Yeah, you've got to do that first thing here, right? After the Malphite and the Taric and the Misfortune, there's too many options there. Just a question of what these other bands are now, right? We've seen a lot of the support bands kind of go through against New York Nutbusters, but Braum's already picked up. So now with the Silas band, where else do you throw that next band? Do we see an Aurora band? I feel like Alana's played it well with the hand that they've been dealt so far. Do we see a Malzahar ban? I feel like it's really hard to ban out Blake. So we'll find out here momentarily as the bans are back on QC. Oriana, take it away. I think it's a right call.
We don't need to ban out Blake. I'm going to say
petrifying.
that right there. We know this Smolder's top. That's why the Malphite was picked. It's their counter pick into it. As soon as they reveal the Caitlyn in the first round, most comfortable champion for Alex by far. We've seen the Caitlyn, Varus, Yunara come out. They've decided the Yunara is just not doing it. They're going to go for Caitlyn to get this early lead into the Misfortune, but in doing so, they reveal the top lane matchup, and now Chow has counter, which means another pivotal counter pick is going to be able to come out for QC again, and I'm assuming it is going to go to Rat versus Alana, but maybe they won't need to, and it'll just go to Drakkar because the Yone's locked.
Yep. Yone locked in. A little bit of an ego pick there, maybe from Rat saying it doesn't really matter what you do. This is what I'm going to do. Come
It has
at
to
me.
be an
in
AP
that
champ, right?
combination.
For
It's got to be.
For Drakkar?
But the problem is like the comfort for
Diana's
Drakkar that we've
up.
seen is all these AD assassins. Maybe it's Diana. It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be a heavy AP champion. But we'll find out here momentarily. Malzahar is currently the hover. Would not hate that to be locked in. Kind of takes one champion out of it immediately, and that is picked. We did see Jarvan get banned.
Mumu.
Champion from Mike.
Silas is banned. It's pretty safe.
Why not?
We've seen basically a full pivot in strategy from NYNB here. This could work. We've seen the Aurora switch to the Malzahar, which QC had been banning in the past, so that could be good. Okay, we've gone back to the Wukong.
Okay.
But I mean, we see the Smolder top come out. We don't have counterpick from Blake. They've gone to the other side. This game is so interesting. I can't wait to see what Drakkar picks here.
Yeah, I think the Mumu is a great pick, just as a Mumu player myself. But the problem is when you play it against Drakkar is going to exploit that every chance that they get. A Mumu not able to counter jungle or defend their jungle easily without a lot of support from the team. And we see the cohesion between mid and jungle for QC that just kind of leagues above everybody else.
Yone
and
jungle?
Mel going to be the pick.
Is this Yone jungle?
Is it a Malphite jungle?
I don't know if I see Chow playing. What is happening here?
We'll find out shortly. What's really fun is you can't even ask, you can't even say who's playing it because, Rad or Drakkar could just be taking this to the jungle. So you can't say who's playing this because it doesn't matter. It doesn't show anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Mel mid, right? It's just a question of who's playing top. And I mean, I'm guessing it's Yone jungle. They are managing the side swapping right now. And while we're waiting on this, I am going to cut to the videos I do want to play before game 3.
Hey everybody, Greer here with another interview. This time we have, name yourself?
Kage from QC.
Kage from QC. Kage, we're going to do 90 seconds of rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Hit me.
All right, let's get it. What's your favorite champion to play?
Jin.
What's your least favorite champion to play against?
Zoe.
First champion you ever mained?
Nocturne.
Coffee or energy drink?
Neither.
Okay, favorite snack if you're playing League?
Fruit snacks.
Okay. Favorite game not League?
Right now, Digimon Time Stranger.
Okay. Who's the team's biggest rager?
Rat.
Okay. Who's most likely to show up late to team practice?
Paul.
Who's the biggest hype person on the team?
Paul.
If you had to pick a song for QC to walk out to, what would it be?
Oh God. Enter Sandman.
Okay. What's the game score going to be at the end of the series?
3-2.
I think playing QC, I think, is definitely the favorite because of it's always just fun to play against new people that you haven't seen in the server before.
Winning.
Probably getting back to being with everyone. Just seeing everyone's drive to really build something great was probably my favorite part. Just Mike, when the season started, he queued 100 ranked games that really blew my mind. I think he hates League of Legends even more after those 100 ranked games, but his work ethic.
Definitely just working with everyone and everyone really trying to help me especially get better just with little tips and tricks, and watching all of my other teammates improve a lot is super cool.
Alana 2, like everyone wanted to play. Everyone wanted to, Alex as well. Obviously Blake, but he doesn't count. He stinks anyway. But everyone's worth ethic to just try to win. That was definitely my favorite part.
I'm happy that I get to play with my friends and be together with my Pookies again, and then we all jump up and down and cheer.
I think the rivalry between me and us and Big Banana, I think that was a cool little. I feel like there's not a lot of those kind of WWE storylines. So having little storylines in this season was really fun.
Obviously playing against Taxi's team, just for the little rivalry fun there. That's always fun.
Forgot to mute again. We're back. There are 2 videos left of NYNB interviews that we may or may not get to. I'm going to air them if NYNB wins their first game of the series, which hasn't happened yet. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, it's been looking rough for them. QC has really looked dialed in here. However, we are seeing the Yone jungle come out in this game, and that is a pick that I think people could be potentially less confident on. We've never seen this matchup come out before, but Mel into Malzahar is a very good counter pick. They did a very good bait and switch against NYNB. They picked the Yone. The Malzahar is a counter pick into that, but they swap it out for the Mel, and now you have Wukong versus Yone jungle, something that I believe Jakar is very comfortable on. Caitlyn versus Misfortune, though, very Caitlyn favored, and the Braum versus Tarek matchup seems even. So maybe we'll get to see the advantage coming out from New York Nutbusters here, but honestly, they got counterpick in 3 different lanes, so I think it is pretty favored for QC.
Yeah, I mean, the key word in that big sentence you said to lead this off was they haven't won their game yet, right? So this is their last chance to make it happen. We saw them 2-0 them in the playoffs. We know that they could pick up a win here. Would love to see this go to a final game. And even though the counter pick does come out and QC maybe has that bit of a draft if there, they are playing an unconventional jungler. Now, I know that it's Jakar, and so if you're going to point to anybody and say this person can make it work, it's probably Jakar. But Mike on Wukong, a very comfortable, very strong in the meta champion right now. Can we see some exploitation there? If Jakar gets behind again, we saw Jakar struggle for a little bit in that second game that we got to see here. And if we have that type of start again, I don't think you can turn that back around on Yone the way that you can on a Silas, the way that you could on a Kiana or a Kindred, where you can still make some use of certain different things here. If we can find a way for QC to get baited into something that's done by NYNB, it could be pretty scary pretty quickly. But it's just a matter of if that happens and all that good stuff, as we are waiting for spectator delay here before we get into the game here. A little bit over 2.5 minutes before that's up on your screens to make it happen. But it has been an exciting series so far.
Yeah, and honestly, because this could be the last game, I'm just going to play it. I think everything that we made should get aired here. Even though they haven't gotten a dub yet, I still think it'll be something fun to look at, especially because we did have some bathroom break delays getting into game. I did not do that right.
In finals, big fat W. I don't give a shit.
Winning.
What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to
in finals, big fat W. I don't give a shit.
Winning.
What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to winning first and foremost, because I want to win. I want to be the winner.
I hope that I end up doing something cool. It probably won't happen, but if it does, that'd be sick.
I like going against the Jakar and Rat duo. I think it's a fun duo to fight. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting that rematch. And it's going to be we're both 1-1 in score, so this would be cool to see who gets the final score.
Playing against Rat ADC again, because it was a little shock when they played it in game 2, but it was definitely a lot harder than Kage playing on it. So it was definitely a little bit of shock, but I definitely want to play against Rat more. And hopefully I do get the chance to play against him in ADC.
I mean, getting back-to-back doesn't matter. It more matters that everyone else gets their win that I feel like they were deserved. Winning back-to-back for me is cool, but winning for them is way cooler for me. That's the only thing I want, is I want to win for them.
Wait, I literally cannot remember to unmute. But anyway, I think we did get to see the drive that NYNB has to win there. They were all very excited to win games. However, that hasn't happened yet. This is their last chance to do so. If they win here, or if they lose here, it is going to be a 3-0. Which we've seen before coming from the losers bracket. This would kind of end the format is so unfair debate. I feel like in this case that we would have had kind of 2-2 in terms of which team ends up winning the final series. Alana at least got their wish. Mike got their wish of getting to play against Drakkar versus Rat. Rat ADC has not come out yet. So Alex is going to have to wait a little longer on that one. But the rest of them that just said winning as their wish, we have not seen that yet from NYNB. And honestly, this draft is not one that I look at as favorably as I look at the last one, where they had that Alawi and Rel comfort. But now they've gone to their comfort this season specifically instead of their overall comfort. So maybe that is going to bode well for the NYNB boys in this game.
Well, it's also just so frustrating, right? When you lose the first game and then you've got a handle on the second game and things are going fine and you're excited and you're happy and you're like, we can do this and we're winning these fights and we've got the soul and we've done these things. And then all of a sudden it just starts going the opposite way that you were hoping or expecting it to. You could really see there was the one fight where they were posturing so aggressively the entire time. And then they start to posture like back. And it's just not the mental was shot. I'm not saying they were tilted or anything, but like they were positioning aggressively in the river and standing at the QC entrance to the jungle. And then all of a sudden,
that's a flash forced out level 1. That's huge.
That is nice. Rat having a flash away, especially in a counter matchup like this. Huge. The pressure, and now it's just a matter of what can Mike do with this, right?
I think I was a little behind here, trying to catch up here. Fight is breaking out in the bot lane. Kage getting chunked here, and we're seeing the power of the Caitlyn in the early lanes, but bad things are happening to Blake. I think the downside of this champion is showing a little bit. It's a long lane, and the speed up from the Malphite rocks is going to have a lot of impact. If Blake can play this right, make sure he uses his flash efficiently, this tanky build is going to come through. Maybe he can survive the onslaught of the Malphite, but it's definitely a bot lane favored map for NYNB and a top lane favored map for QC, at least in the early parts of the game. And I wonder if we're going to see a vertical breakout at some point during this game to punish on that. And Blake just getting absolutely fisted by Chow here. And this might be a solo kill to start off the game. But the flashes come out and he gets vision of them because the minion walks to the bush. And that's first blood going over to Blake. And that is going to help so much in this lane. That could decide the game, honestly, with how we've seen Smolder perform in these games.
That's so unfortunate. I mean, just the range versus the melee advantage, an aggressive flash from Blake, which you're not expecting when someone's in that situation, and just, oh, that's so tough. And Xiao, I was able to teleport back to lane to catch that farm, but that's just so frustrating if you're a QC fan. And that entire wave is going to be caught, though, so it isn't terrible. We'll see if Xiao can set up a freeze up there. Maybe, maybe not, but Blake able to come back with boots and a long sword, that'll be nice.
Yeah, and it's going to be so easy for Smolder to break the freeze, even if it gets set up. That is the thing with how much wave clear he has. It's very hard to set up like wave control properly against him.
Yep. Well, Yone on bottom side, both junglers on the bottom side, so Blake able to have some comfort, and they know that as well, so the ward just expired there. So Blake knows that there is no jungler here, so Smolder able to just kind of free farm and stack up there in the top lane without too much pressure, but we actually do see Drakkar starting to run that way. It'd be kind of a weird path, but
he could be looking for a wraparound, but it is going to be spotted out. Maybe not if he just takes the Scuttle Crab, but if he goes for any sort of play, that is going to be valuable. But Paul is just going to get knocked here. He's going to able to land a stand on one. Flashes in, trying to get a kill into Alex, but that flash is not going to get him anything. Maybe the heal summoner from PB, but that's it. And that is not what you want to see. That's a flash burned on a Taric, where that flash in the early lane can be so valuable. And it is looking good for NYNB. Their draft is kicking into gear.
Yeah, flash on Taric, you know, it's not a free kill, but it's, I mean, it really helps. It really turns a fight around completely when you can go ahead and get that stun to stop and engage, or get the stun to continue the engage, and sort of lose that there is tough. And going for the kill into 3, that's just challenging. So great play, good call and communication there, right, from the Nutbusters to kind of stop and turn onto the Taric instead of continuing to chase the misfortune, but that's just unfortunate.
And Blake getting so much damage here. That should just be another solo kill from him. And yeah, Q cooldown comes up. He makes sure to stack to get that one. Really well played from Blake. And that is going to be Feats of Warfare claimed the earliest this game out of any of them. Looking very dominant for NYNB. They have 1,000 gold lead already.
Yeah, 5 minutes in, just already done. BB, though, forced up to mid to try to help kind of cover.
Yeah, and Paul M matches it. The macro from these two teams is exquisite. I feel like it's the closest we've seen to the pro play macro from any team this season. I think we're really getting the highest caliber of League in finals, even though it's still been kind of sweepy.
Well, speaking of macro, something we've seen in the Worlds is a lot of the immediate early dragons or those fights around dragons around the 5-minute mark. We might see that here. Both junglers are on the bottom side of the jungle and bottom side of the map, even though they're clearing some buffs right now. ADCs both heading back to lane after both just recently-ish resetting. And it looks like some moves towards dragon are going to be made. Some pings that way, maybe just more for some vision. But it could turn into a fight here as Drakar is starting to path that way. But ping down, Drakar actually heads towards the top side of the map. It's just going to be some trading. Wukong, though, is in this bush, so Mike down here trying to sneak through. I don't think there's vision in those bushes. And so if Mike can get around, it'd be nice, but is going to actually just opt to go and ping onto Dragon and maybe look for something there instead.
That sneaky ward in pit placed by Drakar is going to be very helpful if they decide to start the dragon, but it looks like they're not going to, but he at least knows where they are and is going to look to steal this blue buff away. Yone jungle isn't something we see a lot, but a lot of his gank potential is going to be from very weird angles. It was very popular when Yone was first released, and if you use the E to get absolutely wacky approaches on people, drop the ultimate, you can just one-shot them from over the wall and not give them a chance to react. And farming up like this and denying farm from the other jungler is going to give you great opportunities to do that. However, they are giving away an Infernal Dragon to a very poke-heavy team, which is going to be very tough to deal with down the line.
Yeah, I also think it's just a good call in general, right? Like, the objective fighting of a Wukong is just scary, especially when Wukong 6 and Drakar is again behind.
Blake can kill again here with ultimate. Chow looking to turn it, and Blake choosing to hold the ultimate, knowing it's risky if he doesn't hit it. But Drakar is pathing towards top, looking for a kill here.
Yeah, that's ult and flash, by the way, from Chow. So now Blake knows that they've got free reign in this top lane, assuming they don't die to Drakar here, but
Wukong's pathing top. There could be a turn here, and he has to flash away from Drakar, and he's looking to stall it, but Chow with the TP back in. Blake in a bad spot here. Does not have enough mana to drop the ult, but maybe Mike's going to get the counter kill. Does go in for the ultimate. Has flash still available. But everybody's joined here. PB in the fight too. Mike looking for the kill. And now Alana's here too. Rat's just going to get Malzahar ulted. They should be able to get the stun down. Perfectly timed it. They waited to auto until the stun comes through. And Rat is going to burn down here. And Drakar super low. And they're able to trade 1-for-1. And I don't even know if there's a huge shutdown on Smolder. So this seems very worth it, especially with Grubs next.
You called it out, what I was thinking too. I mean, they just held that last auto until the ultimate was finished for Malzahar. So as soon as another grasp ended, they go ahead and get another stun and just layer those stuns perfectly. Really good run up from everybody on the side of the Nutbusters to send 4 people top lane, including PB running it from the bottom lane and the well to kind of come up. They recognize the importance of this play. And we did see Blake fell, but it wasn't for nothing.
Those Grubs are just sold. I really want to watch back what happened there top. You can start after Blake dies. Kage just drops the ult down bot, is not going to get much value there.
So here they are, the fight comes through, and Rat just, here comes Alana off on the side. They drop the ult. They're waiting for that last one to hit. You even see Mike just stand there for a second or two, and they just pick up the kill. And, you know, a late rotation. Paul just has to run away. Has no business being there at that point in time. Gets there a little bit too late. This is the start you need if you're the Nutbusters, for sure.
Yeah, the Warden's Mail picked up in the top side is going to make Blake's life a little hard, but Fortunately for Blake, Warden's Veil does not reduce the stacks he gets from hitting abilities, just the damage. So Blake is going to be pretty damn happy to just sit there and stack up. Going for that tankier build, has the Tunneler picked up, as well as the pickaxe in his inventory, and he's going to become progressively harder to kill there. Drakkar going to try and build enough damage this game, I believe, to try to make sure that he can keep getting the one-shots off onto either Smolder or Caitlyn. The problem is, if both of them are a huge threat, it's going to be tough to line them up in a row, especially with both of them having a like mobility spell.
Well, I'm looking mid here. Do we see anything onto Mel? We will.
It's actually on the PB. It gets reflected.
Yeah, just no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. That is why I ban Mel every game that I play, pretty much. Even if I have no abilities that can get reflected to me, I just don't want to deal with it.
Well, for a Mumu, the reflection is good. But they are posturing bot, and the engage is coming down onto Paul, and I believe this is going to get stacked. He does not have ultimate left, and there he goes, knocked up into the air by the Braum that he's so comfortable on, but that's a solo kill mid. Let's go back and see the replay of that.
Yeah, out of nowhere, Rat just picks up a kill on the mid lane here. And so we got it on your screen now, kind of, maybe. Not really. Oh, my goodness, I'm tilting
double tap
myself.
E.
There we go. And just goes for it. That's just knowing your champion right there. Just recognizes they can walk up, push all the buttons, and get the kill, and so Rat picks that one up pretty easily. Well, now what happens here? Rat 1-1. Most CS in the game, on the team, on a champion that has an ability to just nuke people if the Nutbusters make a mistake and walk into the wrong area at the wrong time, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, Paul might get caught out here, though, speaking of that. But Drakkar, looking to path mid, is at least going to try and get the spell shield down. Fortunately, not able to get it with the knockup. Has to do it with the W, but Alana is just going to get solo killed here. But no! Had to pull back just beforehand, taking a tower shot. And Alana doesn't even have to flash. That's actually very good for NYNB. That is a pivotal point for the Yone jungle. That first ultimate not getting value is pretty significant.
And it's really challenging timing too, right? Dragon spawning in 10 seconds here. Now they know Yone, hey, he's got no ultimate. We're okay. I didn't have to burn too much. I still have my flash. I still have my ult. So they can look for a fight around this dragon if they choose to. Alana is running back to lane now, but we do see that PB again up here constantly with Mike. Maybe looking for a dragon. We see Paul resetting. I mean,
Tarek still has no ultimate. Tarek is still level 5. PB's been managing this pretty well. Hit 6 at a reasonable point. Was able to get value from the ultimate. But it seems like Paul's just a bit slower on all these rotations, and it is adding up over time. They're looking for a 3-man play mid. Rat steps up just a little bit. Alana flashes in and is able to get the suppression down. Layered with the Braum ultimate, and that is a dead Rat.
You cannot reflect that ultimate and just make it happen. Pick up the kill on Rat. We already thought they could go ahead and take a dragon. They definitely can now. No ultimate on Yone, who's in the area, but I don't think it really matters. Caitlyn Trap stop everything in their tracks as well, and so this should be the second dragon of the game for the Nutbusters here at 13 minutes. Maybe he's still looking for something if they want to.
Drakkar looking for the steal with the soul unbound is going to dash in. And is able to steal. It gets stunned up, though, and the Wukong ultimate isn't going to stall him for long enough, but maybe that Malzahar damage is going to tick.
No,
Barely is not able to get it, and that's a huge steal. The Soul Unbound has so much value for Dragon Steals. I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah, and not only that, but the way that the route that Drakkar took, used the Blast Cone in addition to that, so had like plenty of room. This way they couldn't throw things over the wall to kill. Just good movement by Drakkar to go ahead and get that steal, because you think it's just going to go. You think it's a free dragon. You picked up a mid laner. Nope. I have an ability that lets me just go back like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, if Rat hits another Q or two, that ult is going to be enough to kill. So just keep an eye on that.
This is just oppressive.
Alana was able to secure the cannon, though, so no -1s in chat. The ult was just burned, and Rat is going to get gone on by the Wukong, but no ultimate available to finish him off.
Nope, no ultimate, no flash, so Rat just able to say thanks for the gank, see you later. I wonder if we see a play towards the top lane here. I feel like Smolder's just been able to farm this entire time, and Drakkar is up there now, but does get pinged out. Mike is in that area if they wanted to try to bait something here, but the problem is if you bait it, it's a little bit scary to try to bait a Yone Malphite combination. I don't know that that's necessarily something you're comfortable baiting, even if you're the healthiest tank in the world.
Yeah, especially down an ult on the Wukong. I feel like that's the more important one than the Smolder anyway, especially before that execute threshold comes in. Just looking at stat count, though, Smolder's at 150 already. That's 10 per minute, and it's only going to get faster with the Spear of Shojin completed. And that is just an ult drop from MF. It's not enough to kill. No sums needed to be expended from Caitlyn, but it is going to shove Alex out of lane and get the shove off on the tower.
Yeah, now it's an interesting decision for Alex here, right? Do I run back to bottom lane where Misfortune's going to continue to push, or do I come up here for this Herald fight? And if I do, am I okay with just going ahead and letting Misfortune chunk onto my tower? And the answer is no, I'm not. And so Alex on the Caitlyn heading back towards the bottom lane. Drakar's bottom side as well, so...
Trying to get stuff there, not going to be enough, and they're just going to try and walk these two down. The pressure onto the Rift Herald is definitely here. And we'll see if they just start it up. I think it's going to be uncontested with Drakar looking here, but Drakar has a very good play on the mid if that spell shield's able to get dropped. Or dive onto bot. Honestly, Caitlyn is back from the reset, so has a lot of health, but I don't think full health Caitlyn is really going to survive against the Yone.
No, not at all. It's spotted out on that ward, though, so... But the problem is you're pinched between the Misfortune and the Yone, so... Does it matter?
Yeah,
Alana actually going to commit a TP.
From Alana. Oh, and huge flash from Alex. If Alana's ult is able to get down, then that's a trap and that's a kill, but no flash available from the Malzahar. And Alana might be overextending too much. There's 3 people here looking to trap them.
Nope, smart decision by them to back off after recognizing they lost the vision there, and they'll head back to mid. Mike able to catch that wave in mid too, which is nice, but still down almost 40 farm right now.
There's the ult from Chow looking to get the play here. Blake now healed back above 1,000 health, finally dropping below that threshold. Has the flash available, but so does Chow, and Blake just looking to kite this out and is burning the flash. Chow with a flash to follow. Drops the Q, and that's going to be a solo bolo. Malphite taking out the Smolder to even this lane out a little bit, and QC's coming back in this game. They've basically even the gold lead at this point.
No mana on the Smolder, which is pretty rough. And Malphite just able to kind of walk it down there from the lane. Just able to just kind of smack away slowly but surely to go ahead and make that happen. Steals the movement speed, slamming the ground, and you can see just getting enough mana to get away there barely. But Chow able to answer that, flash forward, smack the ground again.
Yeah, and getting back to live, this bot tower was taken by MF, and it looks like the mid tower is going to fall as well. So even though Grubs and Rift Herald taken, and the tower's going in the opposite direction, I think Rat might be solo killed by Alana here. Has to flash. And it's going to die anyway. No, Terra healing is enough. But actually, Malzahar is going to get the tick, but now Drakar getting the return kill. Mike has entered here.
Mike's here. Teleport.
The Tarek ultimate is down already, and I think they're just going to have to kind of defuse the play, but that's mid laner for mid laner. And Alana getting the solo kill. Alana seemed worried about having enough highlight plays in the interview, but clearly Alana just owns Rat. I don't know what to say. This is 3-2 versus 1-3.
Good play to get those damage over time. Guys running around doing their thing and putting the Malefic Visions onto Rat. Can't deflect
Blake
those
in a bad
once
spot here. Drakar just canceled the base. And I don't think Blake knows he's there. This is going to be a dead Smolder. The ult comes down, and Blake's just in bad state here. Not sure what he can do besides just try and farm stacks.
Yep, just trying to go for stacks here. Did a pretty good amount of damage to Drakar, showing how strong he is, but no chance of survival there. It's going to be answered by a dragon, though, from the side of the Nutbuster. So capitalizing
the best way to stop the Yone Dragon steal is to do it while Yone is on the opposite side of the path. Soul Unbound does not have that much
there
range.
is a 0% chance. Yeah, exactly right. They do take it. No problem there.
Yeah, but that's all of their tier 1 towers that are going to fall soon. I think that dragon was enough to get them... no, they should have had monster feats already. So they do have the upgraded boots, and I think that upgraded speed is going to help trying to kite out the Yone and Malphite. But Drakar with a huge play here, but is caught by the Malzahar ultimate, and Mike and PB both falling super low. They have to flash away. Rat falling down, and PB just caught by the MF ultimate.
A flash forward for Kage just to get there faster to drop the ultimate. Very selfless there. Obviously picks up the assist, and so, you know, it's tricky to say someone's selfless when they're there to put some damage down, but flashing forward, not over a wall or anything, just to close the gap more to make sure that they could be there to support the team even better. So
yeah, this is a good 3K gold lead for QC. I feel like the vibes of the game feel like maybe NYNB is in control, and they had some early leads, but Kage is now out farming Alex. The Malphite's close. Drakkar has a 50 CS lead. I don't know. This game is looking pretty QC favored to me. They basically had to sacrifice the Smolder in order to get any value on the bot side of the map, but we've seen how powerful Smolder scaling is, and he's 20 stacks away from that breakpoint. Drakkar looking to take away the Scuttle Crab, and you just have to let him take it. It's going to be so hard to contest this.
That stun comes out, but he's still at full health completely, even with the Smolder and a Braum just slamming away on him there. But I mean, you look at that, the mid lane CS gap right now, the jungle CS gap. I mean, I know that top lane's been really tough for Chow here, but Chow's got a bounty, and we don't see that on Smolder. So even Chow in a lane having a rough time, misfortune even in CS. I mean, it's tricky. I mean, the biggest gap in my opinion really so far has been the support gap, with Tower kind of chasing around playing Bagel versus being able to kind of make moves of their own, but there hasn't really been that much of an impact just yet. We haven't seen that be exploited too much, at least not at this point in the game.
Yeah, it feels like they keep getting stuff done. Yone, Malphite, Mel are still going to have so much value, and MF just needs to do enough damage to have an impact with the ultimates, and we know Kage is good for that. So if QC keeps having good mid-game fights, and they're able to stop this dragon stacking coming out from NYNB, I think it puts them in a good position. But if the soul goes over to NYNB, I think the game is pretty much just doomed. I think the Ocean Soul could allow QC to weather the storm of Smolder. I think you do have to consider as NYB here, though, if you just give the Otacon, I feel like your team has enough scaling upsides. And if you do suffer like a 5-0 sweep on the Otacon, that just ends the game for you immediately. Caitlyn was considering a base here, but Alex does decide to stay. Malzahar taking a tower on the bot side, does have the TP available. Paul M is caught out here, takes a lot of damage, drops the ult early, but Otacon falling down low. Now Drakkar looking for people, forces the flash out of Alex, and it just gets cut out, immediately pulls back the soul unbound. But now Chow going in is finding an ultimate onto two, but Mike's on top of everybody in the middle of the fight. Gets stunned up though, and now is able to finish the ultimate, but two people dropping low, not able to finish them off. PB is going to fall. Malzahar, the only one left alive, got so much damage down, but this fight's looking so good for QC. They took out all the important members. Malphite, Drakkar, double ultis on the squishy backline. This is the one time that Blake and Alex have been grouped all game, and they immediately get punished for it. And there's that Otacon and 4 kills that I was talking about. New York Nutbusters almost completely lose the game off of that. And they're in such a bad position. They're down 4K gold. I don't know how you come back. You're not winning the next dragon fight.
That's such a tough spot because Paul looks like they're caught out. Ult's too early and everything. And Drakkar tries to get an ult onto the Caitlyn, but just flashes away from it. And so it just turns into an absolute mess. And the fight does not go the way that they need it to. And we think that it's going to happen. We think Mike's going to pick up some kills, but can't. And Plain Bagel falls here on the side, and just Malzahar chasing, but Alana recognizing they can't continue to go as much as they want to because of how low Kage and Rad are, but just forced to run away. And the Otacon just goes over to Qualmless Chillers.
Yeah, and I said earlier that we saw an Otacon throw, but this might really have been the Otacon throw. It took a team that was barely at a deficit, had some good angles with the dragon, and it put him so far behind. Drakkar getting so much value on the Yone jungle. He's 4-0-3 on the pick. I don't even know how they punish him. Has the QSS now for the Malzahar ultimate, and Alana's looking great. I mean, this is a player that people have said so many, like, you know, I think that they're the weak spot of the team. Like, are they going to be able to do it? Like, I think you can punish through Alana. Alana's been the best player in this game by far. Like, Mike's been doing well, but Alana has gotten so much work down on this Malzahar. It's so clear why QC's been betting the pick. But now the team's just too far behind. They're not going to be able to contest this dragon, and QC is able to even out the score at 2-2. You have to pray on the Smolder to scale. He's at the execute threshold already, but it's just not enough.
He looks for a cheeky steal because why not? But Mike not even in the area, all the way up on top side, looking for a play onto the Malphite. But Malphite does have ult, gets pinged out, walks away, and just feels a little bit desperate right now for the Nutbusters to try to make something happen somewhere. Dragons gets evened up, Baron spawning in 45 seconds, but I think you've got to kind of put all your hopes on to what exactly? Maybe the Smolder scaling and all that fun stuff, but we've had some good ults from Mike. Like, That's what's been tricky. Is it feels like New York Nutbusters aren't playing poorly again. It's just finding good engages right now for the side of QC.
I mean, maybe Malzahar can find a good ult, but it can't be on the Yone. And I feel like at this point in the game, it's going to be very grouped. And as soon as that Malzahar ult gets dropped, it's either going to be the Malphite ult. And even if that, like, spell shield's still up, the Malphite still gets on top of you and can apply a lot of damage, and other members can follow up. The Misfortune's going to be there, the Mel's going to be there. There's so much damage available for QC to take out the Malzahar once that ult lands. And Drakkar now dropping the ultimate takes a lot of damage, but Blake falling down to about half, and now is almost just completely cut down by the Yone. Yone not having enough to burst him with a single E is nice, but now Blake's just out of the fight and is going to have to take a reset while Nash is up.
Yeah, another half second on that Soul Unbound, it would have been a completely different story, and we'd be screaming about the solo kill for Drakkar, but Blake forced to back away, does have teleport, so you don't lose much theoretically speaking, but Baron is up, and that's going to be the next objective. I imagine there's going to be some focus around. 3.5 minutes until Dragon's up, so really no focus on that side of the map, but maybe you can just continue to scale here a little bit, but you can also say the exact same thing for a Yone or a Mel, that they can continue to scale, or that the Malphite can get some items, or Wukong can get some more. Like, it's just both these teams are just heading on a good path, and so I think that both teams will be happy to kind of play patient here until this next Dragon spawns in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a crazy narrative flip looking at it. Like, everyone has always said, like, Blake is the carry of this team. He's so strong, and he's been the one that's been getting completely exploited. He gets the best pick in this series on the Smolder. They swap to blue to make sure that he can get it, and they just get no value from it. Drakkar forcing out the spell shield with the ultimate and is looking for the kill. It's going to be enough in combination with the Mel ultimate.
Man.
The snapback deals a lot, and it gets him in the execute range for the kill.
That's tough. Alana just thinking that they're down here farming, having a good time by themselves, and all of a sudden Yone walks all the way up and gets all the way over there and just puts some damage down quickly. Even with the vision in that bush to recognize it's happening and running at the perfect time, the spell shield being there, it's just too much damage with the dive. The Soul Unbound to come back, and Rad able to use the ultimate to make it happen there. That's just frustrating.
And this really goes back to that Otacon fight. NYNB could have just given it. Yes, it gives stats over, but the amount that they lost with all those kills going over, especially in a position where, like, they were all worth full gold, and QC just got so much off of that, and it's added so much power in their pockets, especially with all the kills going on to strong members of QC. Malphite had gotten the solo kill previously, and like Tarek had one, but the bulk of that gold goes right on everybody you want it to for QC, and it's made it so hard to play these side lanes or walk up at all. I feel like NYNB needs a perfect angle here. Now they're down levels because of the Otacon and gold too, and Blake just gets caught out. That was completely blind. There was no vision there, but Blake's just going to get picked. He's actually able to survive through that, which is very impressive, and the shield bow comes through. Good job by PB. I believe the redemption was enough to save there. Blake going for the reset, has the TP available, and they know that no Yone ult, no Yone shield bow. Maybe this could be the angle to fight the Nash, but they don't have enough damage to force it.
Yeah, I mean, 3 people there on Yone, and Yone's still able to just get away. The Soul Unbound is insane, and Drakkar keeps finding these angles, but it's just tough when you're putting all this protection around, and he still almost gets the kill and walks away.
Yeah,
and
now they're starting up the Nash
run right back
themselves.
into it.
The onus is on NYNB to find something here. They deal so much damage to this big purple worm, and Mike is just so far out, he's not even there.
Yeah, Mike on the way.
Just going to burn out. Blake trying to zone off here. Drakkar is falling low, but the Dragon's down to 5,000 health. Mike is in smite range, and Drakkar's just completely zoned off here. Blake is looking for the execute, not able to find it, but now they can just turn and get the Nash. They've stolen it. Mike is going in, gets some damage, and it's just going to pick it off. And the Braum blocking the entire Misfortune wall. There's so much value there. And now Alana dropping the ult down. But Chow with the Malphite ultimate onto Blake, they're going to pick him off. And the Tarek ult here has so much value. They actually did not get the kill on Drakkar, so it's not as in their favor as you may think it is. Rat with really good spacing, able to dodge the abilities, coming out from Malzahar here. And they survive. The kills go in favor of QC. Yeah, the Baron's dead, but now Alana's just a little picked here. Flash is forced out from Alex, and now Drakkar re-enters the fight and gets 2. They're completely tearing NYNB apart, and they're going to get soul point.
Mike able to escape that, but just the fight went on for so long, and New York Nutbusters not taking the money and running and just stays too long.
Is Drakkar going to get another kill? He's knocked up under tower, but he's able to just dash away. Shieldbo saves him. And Mike had to burn the ult for basically nothing. Paul's just soloing the dragon because Tarek can do that. And now Drakkar has Q3 to get over the wall, and they're just going to take this. They're stalling out NYNB as long as possible. And they're just draining objectives from the map. One more is going to get him soul, and that was the window NYNB had. It was a really good steal, but then they tried to force the fight on the back half of it with Drakkar zoned off, but it took so long, and they weren't even winning, and then Drakkar's able to get back in.
Yeah, and look, we can go back to that Baron fight too. Drakkar just gets completely zoned off, but the Baron at that point is just so low, and so they're able to kind of stick on this thing, finish it off. Alana lands the ult right here, and it's just, they clean it up, and then it's just, someone needs to be calling it's time to leave, and they just don't. And Blake just gets stopped on the side, Malphite's there, they just need to run away now. And just Drakkar, we'll speed this up a little bit for you to kind of make it happen a little bit faster, but Drakkar running all the way from blue buff, just still able to find the angle here to make it happen. Comes in on the back line, picks up the one here, ult as well, and it's just a bloodbath.
Yeah, and it's a complete game of inches. You saw how low Drakkar got and did not die here. If Blake had died one or two fewer times and was able to stack up a little bit more, maybe Blake turns one of the fights where Malphite wins and gets the kill himself, he has enough damage to kill Drakkar, and none of this happens. Or maybe Drakkar is a little farther behind and isn't able to buy all these resistance items, has the shield bow, has the Quicksilver Sash, and has whatever that armor thingy is called, Steel Sigil. He wouldn't have had enough gold to do that if they didn't flip Otacon. And I don't know, it just feels like NYNB have to be a little more patient because they're the one with the Smolder now, but they've been playing 2 games where the Smolder was on the other team and they had to force.
Yeah, I mean, Drakar's been up an item and a half for so long now. It's just challenging. That's what happens when these ganks and kills are coming in. 505 versus 114. And 114 is not a bad stat line either, right? Like, no, it's just not. 505 is such an incredible one. And speaking of 505,
there's no escape.
It's 605.
Yeah, I mean, they had to burn double ults there. I mean, they didn't have to. Rat totally could have held that. That was going to be basically a solo kill for Drakkar. PB flashing in is able to get the knock on Takage, but that's a counter Malphite ult burned down. And Alex is just caught in the MF ult and dies. This is looking like the last breath of NYNB unless they're able to get this back in return. But now shield...
Here comes Drakkar.
Something came out for Kage, and he's not going to die. And now Drakkar goes on the back, and he's going to take down PB. And Mike wasn't able to get a kill there either. This is basically just over for NYNB, and they came in with the winning position. All they had to do was win 2 games. They had side select in every single one of these games in the series, and they could not get it done. And now Rat just flashing on Blake for style points, trying to get him to that execute threshold as fast as possible. Reflects his own ult into him. His mom killing him. It's going to be so hard. Alana's the only one alive to defend here. Alex is going to spawn. Malzahar ult coming through with the QSS. And it's just cooked. QC 3-1 sweep. Chow dropping the ultimate, and they are just going to win here. And QC going to be our Season 10 champions. And New York Nutbusters heartbroken in finals once again. And this one has got to feel even worse than the first time. I think we're going to see a vengeance arc coming back for them. But enough of that. This is QC's time to shine. They came into the server with an absolute bang. Everyone was expecting them to win out the gate. But boy, was it tough for them to go on through that. It was not... very easy. They were not waltzing over it. They lost to NYNB. NYNB was the only team to beat their main roster during the regular season. They did drop a series to 1T and to BB. BB was knocked out by NYNB, the first place team with their old coach, their old mid laner. They were able to get through them, and then they fell in a 3-game sweep by QC. The Season 10 playoffs curse is real. The sweeps do not stop happening, and congratulations to QC for getting the dub there. I'm going to see who we can pull for an interview. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's tough, right? I feel like you've got to be a little bit demoralized after game 2 of having that lead, being able to turn it back around, and it just slowly starts to slip away. And then the first couple kills, the fights in the top lane, and all those different things, and just, I mean, look at the damage graphs. I mean, you don't want to be that guy, right? But the damage, Malphite, Yone, Mel, and Misfortune were, 1, 2, 3, 4, not necessarily in that order for damage, but just Caitlyn had the least damage, less damage than Braum in that game. It's just, it's challenging. And how are you supposed to do any more damage when you're playing into a Malphite and a Yone and a Misfortune can just ult you? And it felt like NYNB couldn't get their footing in that third game after a really good showing at the beginning of the second game. But we heard Rat talk about the time and the effort and the energy that's put in behind the scenes in the draft and the prepping and the this and the that. And I think that really showed. I think we reacted to this Mulder too late, letting them have it 2 games in a row, and then the plan to take it there, just the way that they took it, it exposed the rest of their draft and gave QC 3 counter picks. And you give them 1, it's already challenging enough, but to give them 3, it's really tough. And I think it was just a great series by QC. A good showing from Nutbusters. They didn't go out with a whimper, that's for sure. But QC just a better team today, and they take that title for season 10.
Yep, we're trying to get all the QC folks into the lobby and into casting so we can get some interviews down. But yeah, it looks like Kage's in there already. If you're a QC member and you're watching this, make sure to hop into. Actually, hold on. I want. Can everyone just join lobby? I'll drag, please. Trying to get this figured out. I think they are quite excited. Gets a little harder to think about anything else besides the fact that you just stomped people. But we will be hopping over to the casting futon call shortly to get some of these interviews going. So I'm just going to hop in, and you can too, and we will apologize for the interruption in video. Okay.
You said it,
we are going to interview people
too. Like these guys played every single week, right? They didn't get a bye week anywhere, anything like that. And so I think they're just excited. I mean, they just want it all after not having a week off and doing anything. So props.
Hell yeah.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and set these interviews up for us in a second or two. We'll put the cams on, get these guys going. Give us a second. We're trying to set it up behind the scenes. We're trying to talk to Rat first.
I don't have a webcam.
Rat does not have a camera, so we're trying to make that all pretty for you guys on the stream. All right. Let me get the camera on. There we go. I'm back. Rat. Look, we got a big D on stream. There we go. Rat. 3-0. Did you think this was happening coming into the series? Did you have any doubt? Just talk to me about your overall mindset in terms of what you were expecting for your team heading into this and where we are now as the season 10 champions.
Come on. I mean, we saw the interview. You best believe I expected this to happen. I predicted it in the interview. I mean, I streamed my own POV also, if people want to go back and listen to our comms. But that was the most, locked in I have ever seen QC ever. Game 1, our comms and, just, everybody being on the same page, we just, everyone won. It was just seamless. And we were just reminding each other, okay, we've had times in the past where we have a pretty big lead and then we take a bad team fight and throw it. So we would be planning out the next 3 minutes at a time-ish or the next 2 minutes at a time, making sure that the people that are vulnerable in side lanes have wards, making sure we walk with our support to get wards, not taking stupid fights when we know we lose an objective fight, just giving when we know we lose. So yeah, I mean, everybody listened to comms. Everybody gave really clear, concise, excellent comms. I am appalled, unbelievably impressed with my team. I'm so happy with how they performed. Every single person.
How much of an advantage, rewinding all the way to game 1 here, how much an advantage do you think you have over other teams with the flexibility that your roster has, right? At what point in time in that draft process did you kind of say, okay, I'll take Kindred jungle, let's do this instead? You take Smolder mid, how much of a leg up does that give you? And when do you kind of know when to pivot and pick ban?
I think that NYNB, I would say collectively versus NYNB across all the series, we've probably put in close to 15 to 16 hours of draft prep versus this team. So, like that's across like 3 series, but for the finals, like probably close to like 6, 7, 8 hours.
Oh no, he said it.
Fuck.
Sorry, guys.
of draft prep. But yeah, no. So I think that NYNB's biggest weak point is that they pick their Aurora super early, even if you know that it's like a pick, or I guess they just need more of a mid lane champ pool. Because if we have like something that is a guaranteed pick, them being on red side is like, yeah, cool, they get counter pick, but also your first 3 picks are like super like predictable. So then we can just predict the top 3 in blue side that is just like destined to win, you know? So, and then like as long as we picked a draft that's not like omega counter pickable at 5, and or just like at least get rid of the champions that could omega counter pick our draft with our bans on drop, then we're fine. So I think that overall the draft prep came really like in handy.
Yeah, I think you see that in really all the games, but I feel like game 3 in particular is when you really see that come through, where you're just kind of getting counterpicked naturally throughout the draft in a couple different places where you shouldn't per se when you're on the side that doesn't have that counterpick ability on red side there.
Yeah.
At what point in time, and this is my last question for you before we talk to someone else, because we've got a lot of things that I want to talk about.
For sure.
At what point in time do you make that call that you're taking Kindred to the jungle? Was that something you had pre-planned coming into this one for game 1? Was that something that after they banned out? Okay, so that was something pre-planned. I thought maybe it was a reaction to the bans or something like that, but talk me through that.
We had about 3 preset blue side drafts, and it just kind of depended on what they picked. So they picked exactly everything that we predicted they would, so we just followed our draft accordingly. And the biggest idea with the Kindred pick is that Drakkar can play it as well. So if need be, it just drops my mid pick, and then he just picks up the Kindred. And then it's also the Maokai flex between top and support. So it's like, even though we're picking these champions that like we're comfortable on, it's still flexible to other roles, and then we can drop whichever picks are dropped, and whatever we decide is better to counter pick, then we can just put people on what's best.
Yeah. Speaking of top, I'd love to talk to Chow next if we could. Chow, if you're there and you're available.
I was actually going to ask to pull Drakkar real quick. I
should have fucking asked Dean. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So Drakkar, can you unmute? I'm hoping you have a cam, but I'm assuming not.
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah, no, you're all good. Okay, so honestly, having been on the other team that was able to make the sweep from losers bracket, something that helped us the most was getting to go down there and have a series to kind of play through, get back in position, learn a lot about the game. If you can give me like 2 or 3 things that you learned from the series against Rift Sharks that helped you win this series, I would love to hear that.
I think we wanted to focus more on like our team fighting in general. It's like, I mean, we could play like the early macros like slow as we want, where we like trade objectives and like we kind of track jungle, but it really does just come down to like our objective setups, which we ended up getting a lot more practice on, like playing the extra series. Because like things like setting up the prevision, holding certain like areas, like playing off each other's spell cooldowns, it's like, yeah, I mean, like I said before, it's just more practice, so we were able to kind of like show like our team fighting prowess like this series as well, especially in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like going into the series against you guys, we had kind of been like, if we can survive the early game, our like team fight setup and our objective control has been really good, and that's something that we can kind of outdo you guys in. And maybe this is like a bit BM to say, but I feel like we had like reason to believe that after watching like the most recent series from you, but then you just completely leveled up and absolutely dominated us in those, and they were a huge part of why you were able to win today, and I think that really shone through. Gotta say it, the Silas pick did look a little bit rough. Was your mental damaged at all during that game? I feel like that wasn't the performance that you wanted to have on it, but you clearly dominated in the third game, so I just want to know if it shook you up at all.
Not too much, mostly because like my team was like, I mean, they were pretty forgiving. And like, when I was a little hard on myself for like the early performance, like they were just saying like all good, just like lock in and like play these like fights better if you can, and then like yeah, I mean I was still able to like farm and like be relevant later. It was just the scoreline low early was not very pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had a very solid game despite that. I think, Spiral, you wanted to interview Chow real quick?
Yeah, just a real quick question. I just out of curiosity for Jakar while you're still here with us. You talked about the ability to pivot off of an objective when it doesn't make sense or go for it when it does. How are you guys making those calls? Is that really a team-based decision? Are you the one calling that as a jungler? Is there somebody else who's really kind of putting their voice out there to say whether we should or shouldn't, or what's that process look like?
I think normally the final call like goes to me whether or not we like start hitting the objective, or like whether we're saying okay, let's play for the fight, or it's like okay, like who cares about the objective, set up for the fight. It's like as long as we are on the same page, and like if I overdive for like maybe a steal and my team isn't ready to like sacrifice me, and we like basically have to fight 4v5 after because of that, it's like not ideal. But once we kind of like get the idea that like yeah, okay, I'm just gonna play the steal and die and don't commit too hard, then that's like what we just end up going with. Or if we're taking an objective fight, we're just looking for like, I think once we find like enough damage, or when certain like spells hit, we'll just make the final call. Yeah, let's just finish this.
Or not even die half the time, right? We saw that with the Yone.
Yeah.
That seal over the wall for that dragon was pretty impressive. Yeah, I
Thank
did
you.
want to talk to Kage. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for putting the show on for us.
Wait, so we're kicking the Kage or Chow? I feel like we
Oh,
swapped
Chow.
directions.
Oh my gosh, Chow. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Chow. Sorry, Kage. I swear I want to talk to you too, but I did want to talk to Chow.
It's okay. I'll steal Kage's interview.
There you go. Perfect. I just wanted to talk, if you were still here, Chow, just about how things were going in the top lane. It felt like you were just in such a disadvantageous situation more than once. Like, what are you doing in the top lane in terms of your lane matchup, right? What are you doing, in that situation? How do you keep your mental up? How do you keep yourself in the game when you're kind of just getting, I don't want to say taken to town, right? But the Alawi is oppressive. The Smolder into Malphite is oppressive. Like, what's your thought process like when you're picking into those lanes?
It's the plan is just to absorb as much pressure as possible and then do well in the team fights in those instances. I mean, sometimes you just, as a top laner, sometimes you just got to take the punches, and that's just the reality of top lane. But as long as you can make those impacts in team fights, your team will carry you basically. So.
How good did it feel paying it back around that Baron fight? We see Blake kind of coming around for like through the back of the top pit for a steal or for a fight, and you just get to ult him and get the kill there. And then that solo kill we saw in lane with you on Malphite. What do the comms sound like when that happens and you just solo kill Smolder at level 11?
I'm not super loud myself, but my team, Rat especially, will just start screaming when that happens. So I get hyped up off of that. I'm not a super emotional guy myself though, but I mean it definitely feels good to get a little bit of revenge, like that flash ult at the Otacon onto Kate and Smolder.
Yep,
really set up my team, so I was happy about that one.
Yeah, and I mean, you did mention getting carried by your team. I don't think that happened at all this series. You were able to get solo kills against Blake when he did have that Smolder pick that seemed like complete Exodia. You had some ults in the earlier games that I feel like completely just turned the game around. I feel like they might not have been the most flashy plays, but you certainly had a lot of value. I feel like we had played some scrims a lot, and I feel like I could just feel your growth as a player, even to when we hit the stage game, and seeing this performance today was very fun. And I hope that, getting to practice against you a lot had contributed to that in some way. It was definitely fun getting to play against you so much and enjoyed watching the gameplay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the scrims, the stage games, sometimes it just feels like we're just throwing punches at each other, regardless of what's happening on the map. It was really fun.
Yep. Do you want to move on, or do you have another question, Spiral?
I'm good. Yeah, my heart is a top laner still, and it likes the style that Kage was playing in the terms of I'm going to show up for my team when it matters. So I appreciate the insight into there. Kage.
Yeah, thank you.
Chow. Oh my god, I did it again.
It's okay. Spiral's losing it. Let's get moving.
I'm losing.
Let's pull Kage in
All right,
since
now
we clearly
get
think we're doing
Chow
that
in here to
anyway.
talk.
But
Thanks, Kage.
Yeah, no problem, man.
yeah, I'm guessing Paul's the only one with a camera at this point. But
I do have one, but it's telling me I can't stream. So
hold on. Let me give you casting perms real quick.
While you're doing that,
there you go. You should have it.
Okay, there we go. Perfect.
Spiral, I'm gonna stop watching you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say you went.
Actually, I
take me out of here.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Okay, let me fix the names. Spiral, do you want to ask the first question?
Yeah, let's go for it. So, there's so much talk about PB and how great of a support he is, and he is. I'm not taking that away. And there's so much talk about how oppressive the Rat and Drakkar is. But you guys in the bottom lane had some excellent positioning, some excellent fights, and some skirmishes. The rotations to Dragon. Does it kind of put a chip on your shoulder a bit, hearing all about PB when it comes to bottom lane, or all about Rat Drakkar, and for you guys, or how does that feel when you're heading in these lanes in these games, and you're having some standout performances yourself?
a little bit. It can put a chip on your shoulder, but it kind of motivates you in a way to want to play better, so that way you can get that recognition, and that and I think it did start to show towards the end of the season when playoffs came. I was praised for my MF performance against Rift Sharks, and I mean, even the first time we played at New York Nutbusters in the season, I had 3 straight Smolder games where I played really well, but I just didn't get the recognition because I was playing Smolder. Right. So I know there are champions out there that don't they're like, oh, they just get to late game and they just carry naturally, but so they don't get a lot of recognition. But I mean, we just saw in our game how Smolder can be shut down, and champs like that do go to late, that do just go to late game and win, can be bested by just good teamwork. And I do owe a lot to the team, because I have gotten to play a lot, and I feel like playing through the Scrim Zone season, I have just gotten better as it's gone on.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you'll probably end up watching the VOD eventually, but one of the NYNB interviews, Alex did mention that he hoped to get to play against Rat ADC again because he felt like it was a bigger challenge. You fucking shut his ass up. Well played. I saw the MF Tarek get locked in game 3. I'm like, Kage's gonna shit on these guys. We had so much trouble playing into your MF before. I knew it was going to be great, and you had some absolutely fantastic ultis. There were a lot of plays where it was one wave away from killing the Caitlyn. It was super fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, you played 3 different champs this series. Is there one that really stuck out to you that you were excited to get to show off? I feel like the Ziggs was a new one for us to get to see.
The Ziggs is just kind of the AP choice in the bot lane for me. I have a couple others in the back pocket, but the Ziggs is just the most common one that you'll see in the bot lane. But the MF has been a champion, I think, since season 7 that I've played a ton of in the bot lane, and I think it's my highest mastery champion right now. So I've become really accustomed to playing her and building her in different ways, because you can build her AP with poke, play her comet, you can play her first strike, you can play her with press the attack, full crit, just full lethality. She's a very versatile champion, and she rewards you for good positioning. So that's kind of something that I've learned a lot from playing Miss Fortune.
Yeah, I mean,
is Miss Fortune? I was not to cut you off, Dean. I'm sorry, but
no, you're good.
Is Miss Fortune the champion that you want to quote unquote be known for? I mean, she's your highest mastery, right? And I feel like we've seen so many people kind of have their iconic champion of sorts. Do you think that that's going to turn into Miss Fortune, or do you think it has turned into Miss Fortune for you?
It's. I don't know if I necessarily want to. I kind of like being known as the jack of all trades, kind of being able to play everything at a good level. I said in the group interview, Jin's my favorite champion. I love Jin. He's super fun to play. I enjoy playing more hyper carry champions. I enjoy playing Kaisa, and I enjoy a good Caitlyn game, a good Jinx game. I'm a person who doesn't like to play the same champion twice back to back if I can help it. And I even have just generally fun picks. Like I'll play a Nasus bot lane every once in a while. I played Malphite bot lane. I mean, I've done all sorts of weird stuff.
How do you feel about Olaf support? Trying to help
I mean, if we were ever in a position, maybe during the regular season, it would have been a better chance to pull it out. But
hey, you got Vayne jungle, right?
Play up. I mean, it's I wouldn't be opposed to it. I love playing with weird picks.
Yeah, I mean,
Paul,
we
that sounds like
get
permission.
to see that champion variety that you were talking about there. Spiral, I'll let you ask your last question, and then when I cut to Paul, I have a question for him.
No, I'm good. I wanted to ask about the misfortune because I feel like that's come out. You have a very diverse champion pool, but like it just feels like every time you push R, there is somebody who is very sad on the receiving end of it, and so I feel like that has the absolute potential to slowly turn into the champion that you're known for, even if you are a jack of all trades. So I wanted to see if you kind of felt similarly or wanted to go that way. So
I mean, it's the best. It's a good feeling for sure. In Rift Sharks, I actually got to do 2 ults in one team fight because of XE Mark, which was pretty fun.
I was not happy about that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I thought we were cool. Moving on.
All right, thanks.
I'm shaking.
Yep. All right.
That was not fun being on the receiving end of those ults, and we think we have a great spot in the bush.
Yep, true. Paul, let's see if your cam's on, and whoever it shoves us in the right way, I'll. Depends on where he goes.
Okay, perfect. I'll do that.
All right. Yep, just because I have to edit.
If it works.
Keep mine up. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, it's alphabetical. Oh.
Oh, hell yeah. He's got that.
He played with those on the whole time.
Yeah.
For the people that know me, those are my goggles. They're my new support item.
Amazing. Well, in your interview, you talked about how Taric was your most comfortable support by far, and that was the one that you wanted to go for. But we saw you play 3 different champions this series, and you looked equally impressive on all of them. So I just want to congratulate you on that. And I think just overall as a team, we saw impressive champion variety. It was basically like it was a fearless series. I think we saw Smolder played twice, but it was in different lanes, and I can't think of anything else. Did you guys go into draft planning on having different comp every game, or was that something that kind of happened on the fly?
It's something that really happened on the fly. We prepped for a couple hours a day. We prepped from what 4 to 9, and we had a lot of drafts ready, and all of them were completely different, and everything had different situations and bans and everything, and it was just really good, and not a lot of overlapping champs.
Yeah, and I mean, that's always really impressive. We talk about the flex potential of the roster a lot, but we often do not talk about the champion pool. I think if the switch to Fearless is made, which, I mean, we've heard, Gruber would bash me if I kept talking about it, but I think your team would definitely have no problem making that switch. The other thing that I do want to ask about is across the interviews, a lot of people said that you seem to have the most clear head, you're the most positive, you're the kind of like the hype man of the team. Did that kind of come into play in this series? I feel like there were 2 games where you guys really were at a deficit, and if what I've heard is correct, you were the person keeping the team together in those situations.
Yeah, it could be true. I'm fairly positive, but even the last game was pretty rough for me. I was pretty late. I was down like 200 gold on support item. I was pretty down, and they actually managed to bring me up and do everything and manage to perform well in the game. Even with that, yeah, I normally am am pretty positive. I'm the lowest rank in the team, I believe. I'm worth the lowest points, and I'm just having fun. I've been playing with those guys for a couple of years, 2 years maybe, and it's really fun, and I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely wouldn't be able to tell you're the lowest rank or lowest points just looking at gameplay. You look phenomenal out there. If you're saying that
Thank you.
were not the kind of pillar of positivity in Game 3, who would you say was kind of like the in-comms MVP of the series?
Oh, definitely Rat. Game 3, it's Rat, and the other games, it's pretty good. Everybody was calling missing. We were making team decisions. Everybody had their say during draft. It was really, really good teamwork.
All right, well, Spiral, I will kick it over to you. I'm going to turn off my cam if you want to turn yours back on, and we can wrap this up.
I had 2 questions for you. You kind of already alluded to one of them, but you're down in gold. It felt like, in the most loving way possible, by the way, it felt like you were kind of following PB to and from different areas or lanes. We saw you had a level advantage on you for a while. You're catching up when they're already at Rift Herald or something like that, and then he's back at bot, and you're running back to bot lane. How do you keep your mental in the right place? Because you're down a level, you're almost playing like a mini game where you're chasing the other support. Kind of talk to me about your mindset and what's happening there in the middle of those games.
It's fairly complicated. It's I know he's a lot better than me at support. He's master tier, support main, everything. So I'm just following him around, checking the wave state, learning as much as I can doing that. So the more I play against good players, the better I get. And that's the mindset I try to keep. Sometimes it's a bit hard, but I try to keep that and have the end goal.
Yeah, which is, that's the right mindset to have too, right? And so with that answer, I'd love to ask another question of, how did it live up to the hype in your head, right? You kind of mentioned in your interview that PB was someone you were looking forward to playing against and stuff like that. Did it live up to the expectations you have, or after the first game or the second game, you're like, man, I do not want to do this again? Obviously you're winning, right? So it's okay in the end. But, did that live up to the expectations you had of a grueling, tough series?
Yeah, it was pretty rough for me, but all in all, it was really nice, and I went into the game with the mindset of improving and following him around as much as I could, and it just helped the team. And with all the team, there's Drakkar and Rat that are both pretty high level, and they were guiding me all throughout the game a little bit and where to be and all of that, and it was really nice.
Well, that's all my questions for you, Paul. I do have one that's kind of for the group. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into this, and I don't know the geometry that goes into the behind-the-scenes points things. But do we expect a QC run back in Season 11 with a similar roster, depending on how the points shake out? Is there anybody that's kind of done after the season? Any of that fun stuff, or anything that anybody wants to spoil or anything like that? Or has that not even been talked about? Has the focus really just been on this week?
We've talked about it a little bit. It's gonna depend. Like, I might have other job opportunities in the evening, so I might not be able to. I might be able to, and it's all in talking a little bit, but we still not sure. So we might still have a A and B roster like we had this season. So we'll see.
I think it'd be fun to see the kind of my fear is Rat and Drakkar with their performance this season, as well as their rank, will cost too many points. And so, like, my weird dream scenario is like they kind of go and captain their own teams and have like Qualmless Killers A and B, or Spiral poaches them, or spoiler, or like I don't want to say A and B team, right? But like two different versions, because your quote unquote B team, I think, has a good chance, if not beats a lot of the teams from this season. So I think a healthy split of some kind could be a lot of fun. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to play against a team that was as oppressive as the entire roster was for you guys. So that would make a lot of us happy deep down, I think.
Yeah, the funny thing about team A and B, or as we call them, QC White and QC Black. We didn't really register at the start that we needed to be 5 and a couple of subs. We thought we needed to be a whole 10 rosters, so we just went 10 of our friends together. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
Well,
no, it was
definitely
super
work.
cool. I
So
think one advantage of splitting up, and I mean, I'm gonna just push for this because y'all are all so cool. I want to see as much of all of you as possible. You spread out around the rosters. We get to see kind of the rivalries cross team show up. Like maybe we get to see Rat versus Alec mid. We get to see Hero versus Drakar jungle more. I mean, getting to see that in the All Star game was cool enough. Maybe we get to
so much
see
fun. Yeah.
Chow play against Scott Pilgrims. That's what I like. I'm there for that. Ribbons versus Kage is huge, and I feel like the Paul Lelouch I've heard discussed a little bit too. So I think getting to see all those rivalries kind of spread across teams could be super fun. But I do want to close this off here. I want to really congratulate QC here. We've had plenty of teams join the server and look super strong and then kind of sputter out or choke at some point in the season. And you guys did fumble a little bit, got knocked down to the losers, but then locked in and had a super clean end of the playoffs. You kept the sweep curse alive, which is just amazing. That was such a fun series to watch. Commiserations to NYNB. And as we heard in the interviews, they just want to win so they could retire. So maybe this means that we'll get to see them come again in season 11, which I think we would all love. They put up a really good fight and had advantages in a couple games. It was way closer than 3-0 or 3-1 game score would represent. But once again, congratulations to QC. Rat, it's time to break out the beers. Have a good time. Thanks everyone for watching.
Hell yeah! Let's fucking go, QC!
Yeah, have a nice day.
Yeah, you too.
GG's. Fun series. Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'm going to kill stream here. Spiral, is there anything else you want to say to the people?
I swear to God, this isn't a suck up thing. And this is 15 seconds. I swear I'll shut up so you can go do your thing because I know you got friends over. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I used to run tournaments, and it is time consuming. It is stressful. It is not fun. And so I appreciate Dean. I appreciate Noam. I appreciate all the other mods that do all the things that they do to make things like this happen, especially playing in it. I never had the time to play in it and run it at the same time. So it is significantly more of a time commitment and an energy commitment than you guys think. I swear. And Discord helps, but just, next time you're in a call or in a sign up game with somebody else that's doing the work behind the scenes, let them have counter pick. Be nice to them and land and give them a shout out because they deserve it. So, and thanks for letting me be here in cast. Thanks to everybody that's casted this whole season. It's been fun. I'll see you guys in next season.
Yeah, I mean, banger newcomer in Blind Spiral. We have casting finals making it to top 3. So yeah, shout out you, honestly. Great teammate. But yeah, signing off. See y'all next season.